potentially landing in a Salt Lake City parking lot kitty corner to the Delta Center. State Olympic CEO Fraser Bullock says a lot can change in a decade, so these spots are not written in stone.
Members of the International Olympic Committee will tour the chosen venues next week. Traffic still backed up northbound Utah County after one person died in American Fork on I-15 this morning. Utah Highway Patrol telling us the person was changing their tire when they were hit by another driver. Police say that driver stayed on the scene and is cooperating with the investigation. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. World Central Kitchen demanded an independent investigation into the Israeli strikes that killed 7 of its staff in Gaza. Wednesday night, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told his Israeli counterpart that the strikes, which Israel say targeted the 8 workers in error, strengthen U.S. concerns about Israel's plans to expand its ground offensive. Let's take a look at the markets right now. Your money at this moment, not doing too badly, actually. The Dow is up 166 points. The S&P is up 35, which is almost 0.7%. And the NASDAQ now with a gain of 137 points. Coming up, enjoy this warm weather while we have it, because it's about to change just in time for the conference weekend. We'll check the forecast next. KSL News Time, 9:02.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Introducing Peach Doors and Windows. Are you ready to upgrade your home with stunning new doors but are overwhelmed with how to begin? Peach Doors is here to make the entire process smooth and stress-free. Visit their showroom to see their wide selection of wood doors, durable fiberglass, energy-efficient aluminum, oversized glass bifold doors, and so much more. It's not just about looks, it's about durability and security to protect what matters most. Let them help you find the perfect match for your home, budget, and personal style. Visit their showroom and see for yourself. No pushy sales tactics, only guidance from their experienced staff. No inflated markups just to offer so-called discounts. See their 5-star reviews where customers rate them on their attention to detail through every step of the sale and installation process. Amazing home transformations begin with windows and doors. Serving Logan to St. George, just Google Peach Building to see for yourself.
The KSL News Radio Movie Show comes to My Hearing Centers this Friday from 10 to 1. But first, discover what My Hearing Centers can do for you. My Hearing Centers uses advanced technology to diagnose and treat hearing loss. These comprehensive evaluations determine the best treatment options. Then enjoy lifetime support with regular check-ins, cleaning, and maintenance. Call My Hearing Centers at 801-701-1629. 801-701-1629 for more details. My Hearing Centers has offices from Ogden to St. George.
The life of a small business owner. Keeping the lights on, calling all the shots. And then there's workplace accidents. 500-degree ovens, rusty nails. Danger lurks around every corner. Workplace accidents can happen, but there is an easy way to keep your employees covered. Talk to your agent about workers' comp coverage from Pi, or go to piinsurance.com and get a quote. Safety first, then Pi Insurance. Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to policy terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
I wish I could get this stupid jar open.
Jars can be tough, am I right?
Who are you? And how'd you get in my kitchen?
It's me, Flo, and I'm here to grant your wish of easily switching to Progressive and helping you get a discount that honors the time spent with your previous insurer.
Great, but what does that have to do with getting this jar open?
Nothing.
So you can't open this?
Oh, I just do insurance. Jars, I leave to the professionals.
Sign up for Progressive and opt into more savings. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
Time again for traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. And as a matter of fact, it is emergency traffic brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Heather Kelly back in the traffic center.
Well, we've got about 5 miles of stopped traffic northbound I-15 from 800 North in Orem all the way up to the Pioneer Crossing exit in American Fork. That is due to a fatal crash. 3 right lanes remain blocked, although they are trying to get those reopened in the next 10 minutes or so hopefully speeds will improve. Right now, you only have 4 left lanes available to you, and that's what's keeping traffic at a crawl. Choose a gorgeous new countertop for your kitchen or bath at the Bedrock Quartz Stone Sale, starting at just $39 a foot. Visit bedrockquartz.com. That's bedrockquartz.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, this weather obviously going to change in the next 48 hours or so. You're starting to see it right now with some increasing clouds in downtown Salt Lake City. Matt telling us earlier the winds are also going to pick up to push this storm front our way. So after the high of 73 today, 58 tomorrow, the rain comes in tomorrow evening, and then Saturday that rain could be mixed with snow and a high of only 44 degrees. Right now in Salt Lake City, it's 55. From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, I'm Tim Hughes. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Dave, I was just looking up online, what is the location of where this woman was hit in early March, and now police in the Summit County Sheriff's Office connecting it possibly to this serial hit-and-run driver that's hit numerous women, especially in the Salt Lake City area. And it looks like the location where this woman was hit earlier in the month of March was kind of in the Canyons Village area. She also was sent to the hospital, and the car, they didn't know who it was at the time, but the car matches the same description as all of the other cases that we have been reporting on.
And this is some of the fear that we had, that the 6 attempted murder cases that we had, that was the tip of the iceberg, that there could be several more, and we knew of one last week. Now we may be up to, 3?
There's other additional ones, too, as well.
It's 9:08. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
In the days ahead, the International Olympic Committee will be paying a visit to Utah to check out where Olympic events will be held. Of course, we're waiting, to host another games here in 2034. But if you're thinking to yourself, oh, I remember exactly where the events were held in 2002, probably at the same places. Hold on, not so fast. They're making the switches. They're switching things up, and I guess there's going to be like a ton more events next time around.
Yeah, 40% more events. So back in 2002, we had 78 medal events. Well, if you increase that by 40%, that's 110 events. Where are we going to put these? That's what they're trying to figure out, but so many opportunities. You're going to love what they're doing with the block downtown Salt Lake where they held the nightly medal ceremony. It's not going to be the nightly medal ceremony this go around.
Countdown. 2.
She is the biggest story to come along in women's sports in quite some time. Caitlyn Clark, going in depth in our 10 o'clock hour. She has lifted women's basketball to new levels. She's not only setting television ratings records during March Madness, she's also breaking shooting records on the court. I think she's hitting threes from 3 zip codes over.
Clark connects. Here's Clark driving in for 2. Clark, oh my, and drains it.
Originally, it was Jimmer range. Now it's Steph Curry range. Now it's Caitlyn Clark range. She is spectacular. I'll tell you why I think she's making a massive mistake, though, going to the WNBA.
Launch countdown. 1.
We've got a lot of questions today about how a hit-and-run driver who was targeting women, allegedly, according to police, all over Salt Lake City, Sandy, now in Summit County. I want to know how this guy managed to pull the wool over the eyes of trained police investigators. Utah's Morning News broke this morning. Yet another woman hit in early March. This time, this case was in Summit County, kind of near the Canyons area. And the MO matches. I mean, it's like add water and stir. Add water and stir. The ingredients were all there. Dave, it just baffles me. Where in the world was the coordination within the police departments? I'm more than disappointed. I'm just completely baffled.
This is a classic example of the left hand having no idea what the right hand is doing.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The launch.
Commence.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
Well, we knew it was going to happen at some point. And then Utah's Morning News this morning reporting that yet another crash, hit and run, sent a woman to the hospital in Summit County in early March. Police in that area, the Summit County Sheriff's Office, now confirming that they're looking at the same guy on FAM as a possible suspect in that hit and run. Woman also landed in the hospital.
Already been accused of at least 6 attempted murder. He has at least 6 attempted murder charges. What's the number? What are we at right now?
Oh my goodness. I've been trying to count this up because there's some cases that have been charged criminally where he faces those attempted murder charges, and there's others that we're learning of, including this one up in Summit County, that possibly could be connected. We talked about the one last week where that happened in Salt Lake City. Woman walking along and captured on a Ring doorbell camera is a white car speeding and out of nowhere clobbers her, mows her down, I think leaves her for dead. She wasn't.
Flipping through the air. It was horrific.
Just rolls right over her. So, and then we're going to learn about another one in a few minutes as well that KSL 5 television has been tracking down. That one also happening in early March in Salt Lake City. So, Dave, I think we could be very, very close to at least 10 female victims. Now, I also want to say in Summit County, this happens on March 5th near the Canyons area, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And at the time, the Summit County authorities put out a little bit of information about it, say they don't have any leads, but that it's a white, older model car. Well, On Pham, who's been arrested, has been driving this white, older model Toyota Avalon. So, like I said, it's matching. These cases start back in August. There's a couple in February. There's several in March. At this point, this guy's thumbing his noses at police, Dave, and he's feeling empowered.
So if you go all the way back to August, you're looking at 8 months.
Yeah.
8 months this has been going on. But here is a little bit of a pause. From August to February, we don't have anything in between.
That we know of.
That we know of, exactly. And that's an important part of this story because this could have been going on all the way from August to March. But there was this big pause so far, or gap in the investigation, where we don't know of any connection so far. So once these things started happening in February and March, police officers were able to piece together that these are connected. But it's the August thing that I think really throws us, saying, okay, then what took so long?
Now we're learning about at least, 2 additional cases in March, if you could count the Summit County case that popped up under our radar this morning. And if you also count the case that we obtained here at KSL News Radio, the doorbell cam footage of in Salt Lake City from early March. Oh, but wait. There's yet another case that KSL 5 television has been investigating. Another case in early March.
As we were almost done crossing, the car came out of nowhere and hit us, turning right. We didn't hear any brakes, screeching.
Dave Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
You know that feeling? You rake up all that crud in your garden after a long, hard winter, and you give your grungy deck a good pressure wash after a long, hard winter, and then you see your air conditioner out there and think, how do I make sure the AC is okay after a long, hard winter? Whipple that away. Checking your AC in the spring to make sure it's ready for summer is my job. Make your problem my problem. Whipple Service Champions. To book your $27 AC tune-up, visit whipplethataway.com.
Twice a year, KSL looks forward with you to General Conference. Coverage starts Saturday at 9:30. It's the 194th Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Hear sessions all weekend on your radio at 102.7 FM and on your phone on the app for KSL News Radio.
Some things are better together, like burgers and fries, movies and popcorn, and auto and home insurance. At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we'll help you bundle your auto and home coverage in one policy, saving you money. And if a storm hits and both are damaged, you'll pay a single deductible. Find an agent at fbfs.com/protect. It's your future. Let's protect it. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. Call 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Hi, friends. Dan, the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. I get a lot of emails with feedback from customers. Here's one. Dear Dan, I just had the best experience ever. I bought a computer from Shane at your State Street store. I asked several what I thought were really stupid questions. Shane was super courteous and made me feel comfortable through the whole process. People need to understand how important it is to support a local company, especially when your experience is so good. PC Laptops really does love me. Signed, Satisfied. I love hearing feedback like that. It really just gives me the chills. It's the whole reason why I got into the computer business in the first place. You can get a brand new PC Laptops desktop, and they start at only $29 a month. And it comes with a lifetime warranty. That means if anything goes wrong, we're going to take care of you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. That's PCLaptops.com. At PC Laptops, we really do love you.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
I was just thinking about that terrible traffic crash down in Utah County earlier today. Well, a great way to get the latest breaking news, push notifications, is to download the KSL News Radio app. It's different from the KSL app that you probably already have on your phone. Just download the KSL News Radio app today.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Tim Hughes. First, 2 people are in the hospital after an overnight shooting in a gym parking lot. Second, the man accused of 4 separate intentional hit-and-run attacks in Salt Lake County is now being investigated as a possible suspect in a Summit County hit-and-run. And third, Utah Olympics officials have picked 13 potential venues for the Winter Games events next decade. We're going to look for a high today of 73 degrees, the warmest day of the year. And right now in Salt Lake City, lots of clouds and 55. Now back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
We found out this morning about yet another hit-and-run crash involving a female victim. Police and detectives in Summit County are now looking at as possibly connected to a 26-year-old man who's been arrested for numerous similar incidents. All I could think of is he must have been thumbing his noses at cops. He just didn't seem to be able to piece together that by early March, a large number of women were getting mowed down by a hit-and-run driver in a white car. I mean, he didn't even bother to change up the cars. And now, Dave, I want you to listen to what KSL 5 Television's Brianna Chavez has been reporting. There's another woman who said she was hit in Salt Lake City in early March.
I did break some bones, but luckily they're stable fractures.
Daisha Davis and a group of friends were walking along 1300 East and 900 South back on March 2nd.
As we were almost done crossing, the car came out of nowhere and hit us.
So this is number 3 in addition to the charges. We know of 6 women that have been hit. And OnFam has been charged with attempted murder of those 6 women. In addition to that, we are learning almost by the week of a new case that could be connected.
And this case that Brianna Chavez of KSL 5 Television has been tracking, the one that happened on the east side of Salt Lake City, happened in early March. Okay, March 2nd. A woman described to her a white car. A white car hit her. The new case this morning that we're learning of in Summit County that happened on March 5th. Okay, this guy's going allegedly day by day, basically. Every couple of days he's mowing down women. A white car. Police put out a press release saying, we don't have any leads up in Summit County of the person who hit this woman, but we know it's a white car. Salt Lake City has the bulk of the cases, Dave. Again and again and again. A white car. Greg Skordas, KSL legal analyst. This is to me, I'm looking at the series of crashes, one right after the other, especially in February and March. It's at this point to me, I mean, come on, he's got to be feeling empowered that he's beating cops at this game. And I don't even know if cops were in the game at the time.
You're right. And you know, Debbie, as well as anyone, that when law enforcement have a series of crimes that are somewhat related, that they coordinate, that Summit County and Salt Lake County and Utah County and whoever else will coordinate their efforts and say, look, we've got this particular type of individual, we've got this particular type of crime, let's be on the lookout. The question is, why didn't that occur here? And had it occurred, could some of these really terrible tragedies been avoided? It's an interesting question, and I don't want to blame law enforcement at all, because it's not the type of crime that we typically see. It's not like a meth lab or a human trafficking or something where you might see a pattern. It's just a bizarre type of crime, and for some reason law enforcement just wasn't coordinating with other agencies in an effort that may have prevented some of these from occurring.
Greg, if there were attempted murder after attempted murder after attempted murder, obviously everyone would know about this. What's unique about this for me, and I don't think I've ever covered this kind of story before. I've never heard of it, but it's so strange that it is a hit-and-run vehicle. If somebody mowing people down, is it how unique the story is, which perhaps would explain why police officers didn't even think to communicate amongst different agencies?
I think that's exactly right, Dave. And it's unfortunate, but we don't see hit and runs. We do in some sense that, people will bash a car, they're drunk, they're this or that, and they're on their way home. But in terms of just running over pedestrians on the street, it's so bizarre. It's so unusual. That's why we're talking about it, because you don't see it happen. You rarely see it happen. Really, in our careers, we haven't seen it. So it's no surprise that law enforcement was sort of treating each episode as kind of a one-off and saying, well, this is unfortunate, it's tragic, and not necessarily coordinating with other agencies who have had similar, almost exact scenarios, even down to the color of the vehicle.
Well, I'm willing to say I'll give a pass to the Sandy City Police Department, where one of these hit-and-run crashes happened in February. I'm willing to give a pass to the Summit County Sheriff's Office, where this crash happened in their jurisdiction in early March. I'm not willing to give the Salt Lake City Police Department a pass, where the bulk of these crashes were happening and the women were describing the same type of vehicle. So if I'm going to blame a police department, it's going to be the one that is sitting right to our east here, and that is the Salt Lake City Police Department. They were the lead agency on this from the very beginning. It's where the first crash happened. It's where they first got the license plate number back in August from witnesses who saw a woman who was running away from this car and got hit. So, come on, let's talk like real talk here, and let's start looking for some real answers, Greg. And I'm fired up about this, and I'm fired up about it because so many women were victimized in our community.
Right, and so many of these could have been avoided. No, Debbie, you're exactly right. Even the location, there were so many that were within, say, a mile of the 9th and 9th area of Salt Lake. It's troubling. It's hard to blame police because there's so many things going on, and traffic accidents are not necessarily high on their list. Of course, when it involves a pedestrian who's hit and almost killed, it probably should have been taken more seriously. Hindsight's 20/20, but you look at Salt Lake City and wonder why they weren't a little bit more aggressive in trying to round up a suspect. They have him now, apparently.
Yeah.
He's been charged. He may be charged with many more, and these are attempted murders. They're 5 to life. Luckily, no one was killed that I'm aware of, but obviously horrible tragedies, almost some of which at least could have been avoided.
Greg Skordas, thank you for joining us, our KSL legal analyst.
What baffles me, Dave, in this too, is you got a guy, at least in the criminal charges that we're looking at, and then additionally these other cases that are now starting to pop up on our radar, who didn't even bother to change the car he was driving. Unless he did bother to change the car at some point. There's a lot of other victims out there who have been hit by another car, but the ones we're focused on right now, it's a white car.
We talked about the Ring doorbell camera incident, and this hasn't been charged. Maybe it will eventually, but as we knew that this individual was driving a Toyota, Avalon.
Yes.
I think that's what it was,
Yeah.
a white Toyota Avalon. And as I'm looking at the picture, the Ring doorbell camera, this thing has been beaten up. There was clearly some damage to a rear light.
Yes, you zoomed in on the
I
image.
zoomed in. You could see that this car had been beaten up. Now, that doesn't make it unique. It just it tells me that some investigation, knowing the name, having the license plate, a thorough investigation would have been able to piece this together very easily.
Okay, we are going to continue to track this story very closely. We'll come back to it in the 11 o'clock hour as we're learning more information about this latest development, another case possibly connected to the same driver, and the other hit-and-run accidents, this case that broke this morning. was in the Summit County area. Straight ahead, we got some big changes in store for the 2034 Olympic Games in Utah. If you think you know where the events will be held, not so fast. And I think you're not going to believe what they're planning to do in downtown Salt Lake City. That's next.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Tim Hughes with a look at some of our top stories for this half hour. Dave and Debbie just talking about it. Man accused of 4 separate intentional hit-and-run attacks in Salt Lake County, also being investigated now as a possible suspect in a Summit County hit-and-run.
Summit County Sheriff's Office confirmed to KSL they're looking into on-fam in connection with a hit-and-run near Park City on March 5th. Fam is already facing 10 felony charges for targeting women pedestrians and hitting them with his car. The first case was back in August. Police were able to link the cases in part because of the white Toyota Avalon described in all of them. Police tell us a woman was hit while walking in Sun Peak neighborhood on March 5th. KPCW in Park City reports the car that hit the woman was white and a smaller model. Jessica Lowell, KSL News Radio.
Now our top national story this hour from ABC News. Hundreds still stranded after that 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Taiwan.
Yesterday's earthquake also caused several of Taiwan's chip makers, including TSMC, the world's largest, to suspend their operation. TSMC set that up after the quake hit early Wednesday morning. It rushed to evacuate employees in some of its facilities at the Science Park in Hsinchu of northern Taiwan to ensure their safety. Joyce Huang, ABC News, Taipei, Taiwan.
Your money at this moment, the Dow still up 158 points. That's 0.4%. The S&P has gained 34. The Nasdaq also in the green this hour by 140 points. Coming up, big change in the weather, and you can start to see it happening out there right now. We'll be warm this afternoon, however. We'll check that forecast next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
It's gonna be here before you know it.
Here comes the summer, like a wave of change.
Soda Weight Loss wants to help you look amazing in your swimsuit and shorts, but you gotta get started right now at sodaweightloss.com. No time? Try Soda's at-home program with all the support you need online.
I didn't realize how unhealthy I was. When you start losing the weight, even that first 5 pounds, this enormous amount of confidence starts to build into you. You start to realize, like, oh, this is possible for me.
That's Lauren, and she's let go of 35 pounds with Soda. With their help, I let go of 37 pounds, and I've kept it off for over 2 years now. That's because Soda works. It's absolutely changed my life. Soda helps you break food addictions and get healthy for the rest of your life. It's why they have more than 8,700 Google reviews and countless before and after pictures and videos of people living the results every single day. Go to sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Every year, we seem to have a few people trying to get our free furnace promotion after the sale has ended. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I know you want to save as much money as you can, but that's not how sales work. When they're over, they're over. Lucky for you, we still have a few more spots on our schedule we need to fill, so I'm extending the sale, but I'm not quite sure for how much longer. Definitely no later than April 30th, and once I think our schedule's full enough, I gotta pull these ads, so don't wait too long to call and schedule your free estimate. Just to recap, when you have Any Hour Services install a new air conditioner, we'll give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it. About $400. The furnace is free, you just pay the labor. So if your furnace and air conditioner are ready to be replaced, don't be one of those people that wishes they had called and taken advantage of our free furnace sale. The estimate's free, and we'll make sure you have all of the information you need to decide if our free furnace sale is right for you. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Time for a look at traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon Really, Heather? Finally, no emergency traffic, huh?
No emergency traffic. The good news is the crash that had closed the freeway for a bit and then only had 4 left lanes open for several hours has completely cleared. All the lanes are open northbound I-15 in Utah County. Now, we have about a half a mile or 3/4 of a mile of some slow and a little bit of stop-and-go traffic right as you come out of Orem and head through Linden. But by the time you get to Pleasant Grove, you're back up to freeway speeds and no problems getting into the Salt Lake Valley. Replenish Landscape provides the finest compost and landscape products for flower and vegetable gardens. Start your season right with Replenish. Visit replenishcompost.com. Replenish, it's good stuff. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, you can see the clouds out there. We will have rain likely moving in by tomorrow afternoon, certainly by tomorrow evening, that could turn to snow, believe it or not. After a high today of 73 degrees, we go to 58 tomorrow, 44 on Saturday, 48 degrees on Sunday. And right now in Salt Lake City, it is 58 degrees. From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Remember this moment?
We did it! Congratulations, Utah.
It was just a few months ago where we learned that we're probably going to get it's like a 99.9% chance they're coming back in 2034. And in fact, the IOC is coming back soon. They'll be visiting Utah next week, according to the Deseret News. Fraser Bullock, he's got all kinds of titles. He's CEO, COO, and CFO. The last Olympic go around, and I think he's like at the top. Right?
He's getting it done this time as around.
We all work together. We volunteer together. And the games have the opportunity to bring that unity. And we feel it right now because we're all pulling for this time together.
They're here to check out the event locations. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, didn't we? These are already built. What do they need to see? They've seen these before. There are so many more events this time around, Deb. There's 40% more events in 2034 than 2002.
What have they added?
Oh my goodness, it's
a lot.
All the jumps, all the speeds. Snowboarding is massive.
Yeah.
There's kind of this snowboard cross that is fantastic and fun. That has exploded. But we had 78 medal events back in 2002. We're almost going to have 110 in 2034. So that's a ton of opportunities to go and participate. But it's also it needs a lot more locations, different spaces. How are we going to fit all these events in?
Okay, so let's dive into the Deseret News article about where these different venues are going to be. And the first thing that stood out to me, I'm sorry, Ogden, you're losing curling. You're losing curling. They did a fabulous job. I actually learned how to curl. As I was
Did you really?
Yeah. So I was
That's awesome.
I was a morning show reporter for KSL 5 TV in the early 2000s for a number of years, and during the Olympics, and it was a fabulous time to be a news reporter. It's still it always has been a fabulous time, but this was so fun because I not only got to cover the Olympics, I also got to cover them in the cover of night when everybody else was sleeping. So it was easy for me to get around town because I was out at 2 a.m. until like noon, 1, 2 o'clock every afternoon. But one of the live shots I did, Dave, was up in Ogden, where the curling experts were on the ice with me. So yeah, I had to put ice skates on. I'm a terrible ice skater. And I learned how to curl. But they're going to be, it sounds like they're not going to be the venue hosting up there in 2034 in Ogden. Do we know where curling's going to be?
Yeah, the Salt Lake Convention Center.
The Salt
Palace
oh,
Convention Center.
That's perfect because I can walk across the street and watch that.
The reason is because curling has exploded in popularity.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Which
it's
is
so
phenomenal.
Weird. It's like
nobody understands that.
Shuffleboard on ice.
Nobody understands that game, right? I remember using like a broom or something like that. I just sweep, 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 sweep. So that's cool. So the Salt Palace will get curling. What stood out to you?
Okay, so here at KSL Broadcast House, just right across the street, is a ginormous parking lot. Now, that's where you'll remember the nightly medal ceremony was held.
Yeah, it was right over there.
That's not where the nightly medal ceremony is going to be held this time around. Instead, this is amazing. I love this. This is their best idea yet. They're going to put a temporary big air ski and snowboard jump. Downtown, they're going to have this ginormous big air ski and snowboard jump. What an incredible idea. I love this.
This will be fun.
Oh, so much fun. Because so many of these events will be held, obviously, in the mountains, and you've got to travel, especially when it comes to big air and ski jumps, snowboard. To have it downtown is fantastic.
So what ski resorts will be hosting the big events? We've got Park City, Deer Valley?
That's a good question because those were used for some of the alpine events. Those are going to be moved, it sounds like, to Snow Basin. So they'll be removing some of these from Deer Valley and Park City
So Snow
resorts.
Basin is up north.
Yeah.
Trappers
Loop.
We got to have some of the events in Park City in that area.
I'm sure they will, but the alpine skiing events are kind of the cream of the ski events. So the fact that they'll all go up to, or the majority of them at least, will go to Snow Basin is a big deal.
What else? What else are you looking at that really caught your attention?
I mentioned the huge increase in events just in general. And I think that's what we have to be prepared for. That's going to be a little bit of a shock to the system because back in 2002, we had incredible volunteers, right? We had people show up. When you're increasing the venues and the medals, you're going to have a huge investment into transportation, into volunteers. So that's something that I'm really paying a lot of attention to.
What about the new baseball stadium if it gets built?
That's
a
twist.
Yeah, I think, well, we just talked yesterday about this hiccup. It actually sounds like more of a speed bump. If for some reason the Oakland A's stay in the Oakland area, whether they go to Sacramento or, I'm sorry, Caitlin, what's confirmed? Oh, my goodness. She just handed me a piece of paper. A's officially, well, we've got breaking news here. CBS Sports is reporting the A's are officially leaving Oakland after 2024 and will play in Sacramento through 2027 until the Vegas Stadium is ready. So that means that the Oakland A's will not be playing temporarily in the South Jordan Stadium that is yet to be built, and the Bees will be moving over to the South Jordan Stadium in 2025.
First of all, I want to cry because I was so excited about the possibility of the Oakland A's going to South Jordan and playing for a few years. I was very excited about this. Initial reaction is this is very good news if they are committed to playing in Sacramento partially, just for a few years until the Vegas Stadium is ready. My fear has always been if they go to Sacramento, which is only about 90 minutes away from Oakland, if they go to Sacramento, perhaps they don't move to Vegas. They play in Sacramento, that Sacramento makes a big bid for the Oakland A's, and the A's just kind of turn their nose up to Vegas. That would impact us directly because we absolutely have to have the A's playing in Vegas for us to have a chance at getting a Major League Baseball team.
Okay. We've just read the headline and a couple of sentences into this new development. CBS Sports is reporting that the Oakland A's have made a decision that they're going to temporarily play in Sacramento. They had been flirting with this idea. We learned yesterday and the last couple of days that they had been entertaining it. They had also been entertaining the idea of playing at the new stadium that's being built in the South Jordan area of Daybreak. So Daybreak will not be getting the Oakland A's. Utah will not be getting the Oakland A's, temporarily anyway. So When we come back, Dave, let's continue to look through the latest developments, do some more research here on the Dave and Dujanovic Show. We've got our D2 research department in full gear, and Dave's raising his hand.
They give a reason why Salt Lake may have lost out on this temporary bid.
Hold that thought. Next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
At KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall, presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio.
Devotion to country, service to Utah. Brent Orrin Hatch had a front row seat, watching his father serve our state faithfully in the Senate. A constitutional conservative and lifelong Republican, Brent Orrin Hatch is a champion for the rule of law. He's running for Senate to stop this lawless president from destroying our country from within. Hatch will fight to secure the border once and for all and take on Mexican drug cartels to halt the flow of deadly fentanyl. Brent Orrin Hatch knows the national debt is just as big a threat to national security. Hatch won't rest until the budget's balanced and won't cave to the big spenders in both parties. Pro-life, deeply committed to religious liberty, rock-solid Utah conservative. Brent Orrin Hatch for Senate. Paid for by Conservative Outsider PAC, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.copac.us.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Held over due to popular demand. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Save thousands on hot tubs and swim spas. It's a major manufacturer's liquidation of hundreds of in-stock spas. Utah State Fair Park. Hot tubs discounted 40 to 80% to the lowest possible price, starting at $29.99. Free professional delivery. Take possession tomorrow, next week, next month, or next season. The Hot Tub and Swim Spa Sale. Utah State Fair Park. Shop over a dozen models of swim spas from 11 feet to over 19 feet. Swim spas offer low-impact exercise, active family fun, unsurpassed relaxation, and installation in one day. The Hot Tub and Swim Spa Sale. Everything must go. Free parking, free admission. You can't afford to miss this. It's a major manufacturer's liquidation of hundreds of in-stock spas. Friday, noon to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Hot Tub and Swim Spa Sale. Utah State Fair Park. Visit hottubandswimspasale.com.
Join Mike Stevens of Capital Wealth Advisors for Retire Right Radio, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. That's Retire Right Radio with Mike Stevens, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Download the KSL News Radio app today so you'll be all set for this weekend, and you can listen live right on our KSL News Radio app to General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Plus, we've got all kinds of special programming in between conference sessions, including one that Dave and I are producing for the noon hour on Saturday, which is entitled Kyler Had Bipolar Disorder, where we take an in-depth look at a family's struggle through bipolar disorder. We are following the developing story that just broke moments ago that the Oakland A's have officially announced they're not coming to Salt Lake City to temporarily play. They are instead heading to Sacramento to play for a few years while they wait to see if their stadium will be built in Las Vegas.
Yeah, this is very important, big news, because Sacramento is a large city. It's got 500,000 people. To compare it to Salt Lake, we're at about 200,000 people in the Salt Lake area. So Sacramento is a heavy hitter. It's 90 minutes away from Oakland. So you might be asking, okay, what happened? Because we had, according to all reports, a very good meeting with Oakland A's leadership. They came here, they checked out South Jordan because where the new Bees are going to be playing. They thought about maybe adapting that for a few years, letting the A's play here temporarily as their Las Vegas stadium is being built. So what went wrong? That's the big question. And according to this CBS report, they didn't want to break up or share any of the television revenue rights. So the Oakland A's right now are making $67 million a year on broadcasting rights. That is a huge amount of money. If you move from Oakland to Salt Lake City, you're probably going to lose a lot of that broadcasting money. So by keeping it somewhat close, moving it to Sacramento, you can keep some of the California TV dollars in your pocket.
What's especially disappointing about this is it sounds like the meeting between in Sacramento with the A's just like happened a few days ago. And sounds like this is something that's come together pretty quickly. It makes me think that the South Jordan location is just something, especially with the broadcasting rights, Dave, getting potentially lost, or maybe they lose some revenue over that. If they moved the team temporarily to South Jordan, they knew that was a real possibility, and they had to scramble and find another location. I'm totally guessing here, but there are other, I think, some potential concerns with that South Jordan location, and that we're going to have to almost retrofit the stadium to accommodate the number of fans that the A's would potentially bring in. That stadium is not going to be built for the number of fans that a major league team would want to host on a regular basis, and so they'd come up with ways to expand it. I thought they were being very creative about it, but you don't need to worry about it anymore. At least not when it comes to the Oakland A's. And I guess they're going to now be the Sacramento A's if that's what they choose to call themselves.
So part of the reason they're moving there is they do have a large minor league stadium. In fact, the Sacramento AAA team, it's the River Cats. They play the Bees all the time. They're in the PCL. So
it seems like every time I go to a Bees game, it's a River Cats game. Yeah.
There's the River Cats again. So I don't know how this is going to work, if they're going to displace the River Cats, if they're going to be playing alongside and just have to schedule.
That'd be crazy.
It would be pretty wild, but that stadium in Sacramento holds about 14,000, which is a large stadium. So I understand. They'll probably fill that up. Maybe not, but they just don't have a lot of attendance, quite honestly.
Okay, so let's talk bigger picture now, and I'm going to pick your brain. Former sports producer Dave Noriega.
It's been a minute, but
it doesn't matter.
It's been 7 years, but at one time I was totally in the know.
You were in the know, but you do follow this stuff really closely because we are fascinated. I love baseball, and I love the idea that we are building. I know there's some controversy around the funding, and I respect both sides, all sides of this issue. But that we are looking at building a Major League Baseball stadium, and the lawmakers, the Capitol Hill is leaning into it by figuring out a way to help fund it. The Miller family is all on board with a Major League Baseball stadium on Redwood Road, just near Redwood Road in North Temple, and revitalizing that whole entire area. Okay, but so with the Oakland A's announcement that they have lost interest in the South Jordan location, at least temporarily, I think my hope was it would give us a taste. I guess you have to watch what you wish for, a taste in how well Utahns would respond to a Major League Baseball team here. So that goes out the window.
Well, and that's a double-edged sword,
I know.
Deb, just like you said. Had they come to South Jordan, had they played for 2 or 3 years, and maybe initially we were super excited in filling up that stadium, and then that wanes, then that would absolutely affect our long-term prospects of bringing in our own Major League Baseball team.
Like the New Year goal of, I'm going to diet all year. And then
great in January.
2 months in, it's like, oh, I don't know. It's hot in July. I don't know if I want to go sit at the stadium again. Okay, so how does this move to Sacramento, at least temporarily, affect potentially, like, let's just put on our maybe, could have, would have, should have, it might happen, might not happen with Major League Baseball coming to Utah in the future, Dave? Does it?
I think it does. And this is what I worry about. Sacramento is a major player. Right? This is a big city. They've been rumored to want a Major League Baseball team in the past. We have a very, very good bid. We want it. We have the location, but we're still a fairly small city. Sacramento is much larger than we are. So you have to ask yourself, if you're comparing Sacramento and Salt Lake City, and both want a team, and both have support, but Sacramento is much larger, they've got California TV dollars already attached to it, do we still have as rich a bid as we thought we had? Well, with the A's going to Sacramento for almost what feels like a trial run, they're going to play temporarily. No, we're still going to build this thing in Las Vegas, all the promises. If they catch fire in Sacramento, just staying in Sacramento or building a stadium there is a real likelihood. How does that affect us here in Salt Lake City? Well, that takes away the Las Vegas team.
So Las Vegas won't have the A's playing there. And that stadium is rife with controversy.
Yes.
Anyway.
In Vegas.
Yes, in Vegas.
Yeah, they're going to tear down the Tropicana.
Yeah, they haven't started building the thing yet.
Yeah, and they're already having drama with it. So if Vegas doesn't get the A's, then if Major League Baseball were to expand and increase the number of teams they have, then they would go to Vegas. Like, that's a rubber stamp.
In the West.
In the West. There is going to be a Major League Baseball team in Las Vegas. They're the number one option. It makes all the sense in the world. It's a destination city. We do not want to compete with Las Vegas. I don't mind competing with Sacramento or Portland or some of these other areas. We don't want anything to do with Las Vegas. So any chance there is that the Oakland A's end up somewhere else besides Vegas directly affects us.
Is there a dissatisfied team that's already out there right now? It's whining about the location that they're playing in. They hate the city hates them. Besides Oakland.
Nope.
Besides Oakland. Is there anybody out there? Let's East Coast to West Coast. Let's go into Canada.
Yeah. The Blue Jays.
Can we get the Blue Jays? Can we get the Reds?
Salt Lake Blue Jays.
Is there anybody out there that you're eyeballing right now that's whining and looking for a new home?
No.
Oh.
No, sorry. It's the A's or bust.
About this.
I would say the Tampa Bay Rays, but the Tampa Bay Rays, they just figured out their stadium deals, so they're off the table.
The marriage?
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna work things out.
They're gonna counseling.
They went to counseling. They're gonna work things out.
Darn it!
This is terrible news.
Oh. So Dave and I just got word that the Oakland A's have decided they're not coming to South Jordan, Utah to play temporarily for 3 years while their air quotes stadium in Las Vegas is being built. Instead, they're heading to Sacramento. I don't know if they're going to be the Sacramento A's temporarily. And then the concern is if they stay in Sacramento and Vegas doesn't have a team, but they have a brand new stadium, when MLB expands, they might not be so interested in SLC anymore and they'd be going to LV.
Caitlin, can we do a little producing live on the air? Can we reach out to Big League Utah? They are the ones that are kind of running this bid for Major League Baseball in Utah. Big League Utah, we'll reach out to them and see what their reaction is.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. Person changing a tire on the side of I-15 in Lehigh was struck and killed by another vehicle early this morning. The accident and the investigation that followed tied up traffic for several hours with cars backed up all the way to Orem. That is being resolved now. Utah and Idaho are expanding Bear Lake State Park to make room for a growing number of visitors. While Idaho's side of the lake will feature about 30 new acres of beach, Utah's portion will include a new marina and dozens of RV-ready campsites. Those additions will cost Utah something like $65 million. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Crews searching for people still trapped in buildings after Taiwan's strongest earthquake in 25 years. Here's ABC's Marcus Moore.
First responders digging through the rubble of collapsed buildings, looking for more than 100 trapped, while nearly 40 remain unaccounted for. Demolition beginning on teetering buildings deemed a safety risk. Many sleeping in tents outdoors, the walls of their homes cracked.
And your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day now 184 points. The NASDAQ is up 165 right now. And our KSL weather, things are changing. It's going to cool off and get a little showery. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Introducing Peach Doors and Windows. Are you ready to upgrade your home with stunning new windows but are overwhelmed with how to begin? Look no further than Peach Windows. You know at Peach, they are all about giving you options. Peach offers a wide selection of wood windows, sleek modern black metal frames, European tilt and turn windows, plus much, much more. It's not just about looks, it's about durability and security to protect what matters most. Let them help you find the perfect match for your home, budget, and personal style. Visit their showroom and see for yourself. No pushy sales tactics, only guidance from their experienced staff. No inflated markups just to offer so-called discounts. See their 5-star reviews where customers rate them on their attention to detail through every step of the sale and installation process. Amazing home transformations begin with windows and doors. Serving Logan to St. George, just Google Peach Building to see for yourself.
Attention, Dave's Bernina in Provo and St. George just finished a 3-day event in Vernal and is now offering these just out of the box, brand new Bernina machines at tremendous discounts with full warranties. Save thousands on the Bernina sewing, quilting, and embroidery, $735, $790, and $770 Cafe machines, featuring unmatched quality and ease of use. Many of these machines have special offers and come with free gifts with purchase. We also have a few L890 sergers and a sit-down Q16 quilting machine. Hurry in, quantities are limited. All other exciting Bernina machines in our stores are on sale too. Plus, we'll have discounts on Bernina accessories and zero-interest financing options. Come to Dave's Bernina now at 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo while supplies last. Dave'sBernina.com.
Jazz fans, secure your seats for the next NBA season by getting season tickets. Season ticket members get special perks like team store discounts, savings on in-arena concessions, and more. Be there for every moment during the 2024-25 season by calling or texting 801-355-DUNK today. 801-355-DUNK. Let's go, Jazz.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, we are finally delay-free all across the Wasatch Front. I-15 is running at speed, both northbound and southbound, trying to get into downtown Salt Lake from Utah County and Davis and Weber counties as well. You also have a good drive on the east and west side belt routes around the Salt Lake Valley, and no problems getting to and from Park City through Parley's Canyon. Elevate your home and yard with beautiful flowers for the landscape, porch, and patio from Olson's Greenhouse. For landscape inspiration, visit us on Instagram at Olson's Greenhouse Gardens. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our KSL weather, cloudy with south winds today, high in the low 70s. Rain showers tomorrow with rain and snow showers on Saturday. Temperatures drop into the 40s for the weekend. Right now, 58 degrees, mostly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Come on, we got to talk about the biggest thing in America right now, and that is college women's basketball. And it's Caitlyn Clark. She has lifted women's basketball to new levels, in my view. Not only setting television ratings records for March Madness, but she's breaking shooting records on the court.
Clark connects. Here's Clark driving in for two. Clark, oh my, and drains it.
She is fantastic. She is so much fun to watch, and she is the biggest college basketball player in the nation. I didn't think I would ever say that, Debbie. I didn't think anyone would ever trump. This is March Madness. This is the NCAA tournament, and Caitlyn Clark is dominating it. I want to watch it. I've never said that. I've never said that before. I'm
About
far
women's
more
basketball?
I'm far more interested in her game than I am whatever's going on in the NCAA.
How has her game changed your view of women's basketball?
I think it's done a lot what Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan have done. There is somebody you can rally around. There's a person you can get excited for. The NBA was not the NBA back in the 1960s and the 1970s. It wasn't until Magic Johnson and Larry Bird came in that all of a sudden you had marquee players that you could brand the league around. And that's exactly what Caitlyn Clark with Iowa has done. The women's basketball, college basketball specifically, has somebody they can brand around. Michael Jordan took it to a whole nother level in the 90s, but it started off with Magic and Larry.
So I just heard okay, I want to just play this. It was just a few months ago when I think it was the Iowa State student section. It was December. We're just hassling her during the game. Of course, they're rivals. Overrated. I think she went on to score 42 points that game.
I was going to say.
It might have been 43. It might have been 41. She scored over 40 points that game, guys. So I cannot pick out of a crowd a single college men's basketball player. And it pains me to say this. That even includes Utah basketball, college men's basketball players. I started my career in a sports department in Phoenix, so I love sports. Yeah. I don't pay as close of attention as you do, Dave and others do. But if Caitlyn Clark were walking down the street, I would be that woman. Hi, can I get your autograph? How about a selfie? A weefie? Let's go. I would absolutely be able to spot her out of any crowd. What has elevated her to be the biggest name in all of college basketball and maybe sports this year?
Number one is she's fantastic. It's just her skill. She is a great basketball player, objectively a great basketball player. Now, there's going to be people that do these crazy comparisons saying, oh, she's a better shooter than Steph Curry, or she should be on an NBA team. I am not interested in any of those conversations. Let's celebrate her for what she is, which is the best women's basketball player in college right now. I don't know how she will compare in the WNBA. She might be a flash in the pan. She might be an all-star. I don't know. But we can celebrate right now that she is on a historic run. She's playing fantastically, and her entire team is fun to watch.
The Weirs and Dave and I are talking about Iowa superstar Caitlyn Clark not only because the Hawkeyes are playing UConn tonight, and I will be watching it. I asked you before the show. I got to figure out how I can watch that game. It's got to be on one of the apps I've downloaded on my smart television, which outsmarts me.
This will be on rabbit ears, Deb. Don't worry.
I am going to be there. I don't care if I have to, beg a neighbor to stop in. Of course, the fans will be watching to see if she can hit the threes from 2 zip codes away. She's phenomenal at it. I'm like, oh my goodness, she must just have some sort of like laser eye on the target, and she hits it over and over again. So the ratings when they were playing LSU were off the charts. At peak, 16 million people tuned in. Average, 12.3 million tuned in. It's unheard of. And I also know of men who in the beginning were a little bit like, she's just a flash in the pan, who really turned their perspective around. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, there's a couple things. College basketball is king. It is billions of dollars. It has been king in March for so long. And I don't want to diminish this. The NBA, the NCAA have kind of ruined each other because all the good players in men's basketball leave after 1 year. All the superstars leave after their freshman year. It's got its phrase. It's called one and done. They can't leave from high school and go to the NBA any longer. That's not allowed by the NBA. So they have to go do a token year in college and then they move on. So what's different about women's basketball is they don't have that same kind of demand. You're not going to have a high school girl jump directly to the WNBA. It's just too much of a jump. So what Caitlyn Clark has been able to do is spend 4 years at Iowa. She was good. She got better. She turned into great. Now she's a superstar during her senior year. So we've had 4 years of following Caitlyn Clark's career, getting to know her face, getting to know her story. That's why she is so big. We had that experience here in Utah. You'll remember this name, Jimmer Fredette. Jimmermania. Jimmer played 4 years at BYU. He had this so-so freshman year. Then he got a little better as a sophomore. As a junior, he hit the national news. By his senior year, he was one of the biggest basketball players in the world. LeBron was tweeting about him. It was fantastic. But as soon as Jimmer went to the NBA, he fizzled almost immediately. And I look back and I think, if Jimmer had played in today's college basketball for 4 years, he would be Caitlyn Clark. Or Caitlyn Clark is the Jimmer, however you want to measure it. But we experienced this here in Utah.
So her NIL deals, name, image, likeness deals, of course, we've all become very familiar with that. We talked about that a lot on the show, that college athletes can now sign deals with, Gatorade and Nike, like Caitlyn Clark has. H&R Block, she's signed an NIL deal with a women's clothing line. And also Jake from State Farm.
Shoot. Okay, I'll shoot.
What's happening?
But I don't see any hoop.
No, I said that because of, I'm sorry, shoot.
Shoot? Where's the hoop?
They don't have one.
Will you stop saying yes?
I didn't know.
They're going to want the jingle for this.
Okay.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Okay, so
Don't
she
worry.
can't really sing. She can't really sing. But her NIL deals have made her rich. They're right now, the best estimates are at $3.1 million while she's in college. If she leaves college, though, some say she'll take those deals with her, so she'll still be rich. But the question is, should she go to the WNBA? She's already said she's going to, but she can stay 1 more year at Iowa because COVID gave the players that are currently playing 1 extra year. So she could stay at Iowa, but she said she's going to go to the WNBA.
This is the worst decision she could make. It's not just personally a terrible decision. Listen, she's got to make her own mind. It's
shocked.
a terrible decision on every level. I don't know who is in her ear right now, but she should absolutely stay in college basketball. Absolutely.
You got to prove your point next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
A lot of us are filling our workdays with podcasts.
When you're working, go to KSLNewsRadio.com.
Click on Dave and Debbie's podcast and pick a topic and story length.
Podcast with Dave and Debbie. Then get to work with KSL News Radio.
Devotion to country, service to Utah. Brent Orrin Hatch had a front row seat, watching his father serve our state faithfully in the Senate. A constitutional conservative and lifelong Republican, Brent Orrin Hatch is a champion for the rule of law. He's running for Senate to stop this lawless president from destroying our country from within. Hatch will fight to secure the border once and for all and take on Mexican drug cartels to halt the flow of deadly fentanyl. Brent Orrin Hatch knows the national debt is just as big a threat to national security. Hatch won't rest until the budget's balanced and won't cave to the big spenders in both parties. Pro-life, deeply committed to religious liberty, rock-solid Utah conservative. Brent Orrin Hatch for Senate. Paid for by Conservative Outsider PAC, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.copac.us.
If you need a break from it all, this weekend is General Conference.
When you've dealt with a lot and you need to recharge, this weekend is General Conference.
If things are difficult or life is going really well.
For all these times, a reminder. It's time for General Conference Weekend at 102.7 FM and streaming live on the app for KSL News Radio.
When the weather warms up, it's like a stampede, except instead of dust stirred up by hundreds of hooves, it's a cascade of phone calls to Advanced Window Products. This is Jeff Kaplan. Soon as the sun shines and the snow's gone, people want new windows and frames from Utah's #1 custom window maker, and the wait for installation grows longer. But right now, you can get near the front of the line by calling for a quote and get $2,500 off when you purchase 10 windows or more. That's on top of the incredible savings for the highest quality double-pane windows and frames, any style, any color. See, at Advanced Window Products, they actually build the windows here in Utah, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. There's no middleman, and they can pass the savings on to you. They even offer buy now, pay later. So get in before the wait grows longer and get the $2,500 off. Get your new windows this spring. Make the call. Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
Hey guys, do you know your T-level? Revive Men's Health here in Salt Lake City is helping you take that first step toward better health and enhanced intimacy with a free testosterone level test, exam, and consultation. Plus, for this month only, qualified patients can kickstart their treatment with a free supply of ED medication. Revive's customized ED treatments can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. With both in-person and telemedicine appointments available, plus free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Having an optimal testosterone level can change your whole life, and it starts with knowing your T level. Take that first step and book your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation, and kickstart your treatment with a free supply of ED medication this month only. Call Revive Men's Health Salt Lake City at 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
If you tune in tomorrow at this time for the Dave and Dujanovic Show, yes, this is a friendly reminder. We now are on every Friday at 9 a.m. But if you tune in tomorrow at this time, you will hear Dave and I talk about our very special coverage that is coming up this weekend during LDS Conference Weekend about a man named Kyler. You may remember Kyler from a story that broke on New Year's Day. He died at the Salt Lake International Airport. Well, Kyler had bipolar disorder, and Dave and I spent a significant amount of time looking into Kyler's story. So if you have a friend or family member who is dealing and struggling through bipolar disorder, join us tomorrow during our 10 o'clock hour and we will walk you through what Kyler went through and also tell you when you can listen to the full special on Saturday.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, one person died in an accident on the side of I-15 in Lehigh early this morning. The accident tied up traffic through the morning commute. Second, both Idaho and Utah spending millions expanding facilities for visitors at Bear Lake. Third, rescue crews starting to demolish buildings in Taiwan damaged by a major earthquake. Right now, 58 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
I love 99% of our listeners, Dave. I'm working to come to terms with the 1% of you. But nonetheless, my love to the listener who texted moments ago and reminded me that Caitlyn Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes take on UConn tomorrow night at 7:30, which is great because I've got a date night on Friday night with myself, and I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. So thank you so much. I'll have something to look forward to watching Caitlyn Clark tomorrow night. We were talking about Caitlyn Clark because the entire nation is talking about this woman who has done phenomenal things for women's basketball. I think she's elevated women. She's also elevating young girls who are following her around and asking for her autograph, and she so generously spends time with them, Dave. And now it looks like she might be going to the WNBA. She said she is, but Dave thinks that's a horrible idea, that she should stay in college and play one more year and dominate the field.
It's a terrible decision. I feel so bad. I wish someone would just get in her ear and just force her to return to Iowa.
Why is it a bad decision?
Okay,
I think I totally am in support of this.
I think maybe there's a little big fish in a little pond versus the little fish in a big pond, thing going on right now. She is the face of women's basketball right now in the world. More than anybody in the WNBA. I guarantee you, she is more well-known, higher name recognition than any WNBA player. That doesn't happen very easily, and it doesn't happen very often. We experienced it here in Utah with Jimmer Fredette, Jimmermania. He was the biggest player in college basketball and one of the most recognizable players in the entire world. He was an incredible college basketball player. As soon as he went to the NBA, he was not a very good player. He was out of the league in 3 years. He never averaged double digits. And this was the most prolific scorer in BYU history, one of the greatest scorers in college basketball history. As soon as he went up against the best players in the world, he fizzled. And all the endorsement deals, all the excitement just dissipated.
What I cannot stop thinking about is the money. The money, honey. Gold digger Deb over here. She is making more than $3 million right now with the NIL deals that she's signed in college with Gatorade and Nike and a whole slew of them. I mean, it's like H&R Block and State Farm. There's a lot of them. What I cannot stop thinking about is that the WNBA salary, and she's already said she's going to play next year in the WNBA, even though she can stay one more year in college, right?
She's eligible.
She's eligible. It's like $76,000 in the first year. She will be making under six figures for at least the first 3 years. I think the third year gets her up to the mid 80s. I'm like, which is a whole nother discussion about what the men in the NBA get paid compared to women in the WNBA get paid. And it's pitiful. So the idea of going to the WNBA at $76,000 hurts. It hurts my heart for a lot of reasons. I mean, clearly there's a huge discrepancy in pay for women compared to men. Okay.
As there should be, yeah.
Okay, why?
Well, because the NBA fills out stadiums and has billion-dollar TV deals. The WNBA doesn't have any of that. They don't fill up stadiums. They don't have billion-dollar TV deals.
And why is that? Nobody's
There's
interested.
not a support. There's not nearly the support. Though in college basketball right now, Caitlyn Clark is filling up women's basketball stadiums.
And that's why I think she should go to the WNBA.
Yeah.
I think she will take those fans with her. I think she will outshine a lot of the players. I think she will obviously continue to have those contracts, those big name contracts with Nike and Gatorade. I think it's also about not only the fact that she is an amazing shot from 3 zip codes over, but it's also her personality. She's humble, and she embraces the young girls that are lined up behind her, waiting for her autograph. She goes out of her way to make them feel special and uplift them. And I think she will take that to the WNBA. I think it is exactly what the WNBA needs, because I would love for nothing more than the WNBA to get more recognition, because those women are amazing. They're amazing. And just look what happened the other night when the Hawkeyes were playing LSU and beat them. That was some of the most watched, that was 16 million people.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yep.
Great. I mean, more so than, a lot of men's sports get.
Maybe because I've seen this story play out so many times over my lifetime, where you have incredible college players. As soon as they start playing with the best players in the world, in the NBA, the WNBA, whatever, they become very mediocre. Now, maybe Caitlyn Clark is the Michael Jordan of the world, and she'll go in and set the world on fire. I can tell you, Christian Laettner was the best basketball player in the world. He played on the Olympic Dream Team with Karl Malone, John Stockton, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. He was the best college basketball player in the nation. As soon as he was playing on the 92 Dream Team, he couldn't get off the bench. He didn't sniff time. He was so overly matched by all the NBA stars that he was an afterthought. He was the best player in the country. He was the National Player of the Year. As soon as he took the leap, he was nothing. He had a mediocre career. So when you are a superstar, I don't care if it's a high school superstar, a college superstar, don't discount and assume just because you're awesome here that you're going to be awesome at the next level. So this is a very bird in hand moment for me with Caitlyn Clark. You are the most recognizable basketball figure on earth. If you can play another year, you will make millions. You will be the top paid college athlete in the entire nation. She's already number 4, Deb. She's already the 4th highest paid athlete. And you want me to really rock your world right now? 3 of the top 7 players in the nation, top paid athletes, are females. It's Angel Reese with LSU, it's Caitlyn Clark, and it's Olivia Dunn.
Olivia Dunn, yeah.
3 of there is boatloads of cash for these college athletes. Do you know who's not making $3.5 million like Livy Dunn is, or 3.1 like Caitlyn Clark? Anyone in the WNBA. So don't assume or don't take for granted that your popularity, that your star power will just naturally glide over as soon as you go into the WNBA, because I've got a list that is a mile long of college basketball players that were living on the top of the world in college and became mediocre players at the next level.
So I'm going to throw a wrench in that, Dave. And actually, I'm going to throw an ice cube in that, because Ice Cube's 3-on-3 basketball league, the rapper and the TV star, they've made an offer to Caitlyn Clark to play with them, their league. I think it's a streaming service, for a year, and they'd pay her $5 million. Now, she would play strictly with this big, 3-on-3 basketball, Big 3 is the name of it.
They think she could do both.
Oh, okay. So do you take this deal? Okay, first I want to hear from Ice Cube.
$5 million. That's a large That's a large amount of money. I feel like for 10 Saturdays.
Yeah.
Right. That feels like, if we're just going off booking fees, I mean, that's $500,000, a show. Like that's a very good number. Was there chat about that? And did you look into the WNBA stuff?
Of course, we definitely did our homework. We think with a move like this, all boats rise, with the tide. So We think this would put the league in a different stratosphere. And, everybody across the board in the league would benefit.
This is a 3-on-3 basketball league.
Sounds fun.
You remember Hoop It Up? Like what we would do as kids in the middle of a bank parking lot? Like that's what 3-on-3 basketball is. They're offering her $5 million to play in this league for 10 Saturdays. It's a carnival act. There's a reason why they said, we want you for 1 year. This isn't a 10-year deal. We're not investing. It's a carnival act. So, Caitlyn Clark, love you. Excited for you. Because you are the biggest player on earth right now in college basketball, don't take it for granted. Go back to Iowa for one more year, please.
I think she's going to make a stop at the Big Three. And if she could play the WNBA at the same time, say, go for it. Go for it. Do it. Why not? We need Caitlyn Clark. We need more Caitlyn Clarks. Congratulations to her on all of her success. Hey, straight ahead, Salt Lake City Police Department calling the show next. We've got lots of questions for them about the series of hit-and-run crashes that left a number of women with serious injuries. One woman had to be intubated. They ended up in hospitals. One woman was in the ICU. Horrible, horrible ordeals all across Salt Lake City. And we got a lot of questions for him because it did seem like it took quite a long time for the Salt Lake City Police Department to piece these accidents together and pin them on one man. Next.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour, the Oakland A's won't be coming to Utah to play temporarily. They've instead officially chosen Sacramento as their home for the time being.
The Oakland A's will play 3 seasons at Sacramento's AAA team's field while their new stadium in Las Vegas is being built. The A's had expressed interest in playing in Utah. Back in January, Larry H. Miller Company CEO Steve Starks told KSL The Zone's Hanson Scotty they were interested in the Daybreak Stadium.
It meets the standards that are required for Major League Baseball and the players, and the fan and guest experience there would be distinct.
The A's will start playing at Sacramento's Sutter Health Park during the 2025 season. Jessica Lowell, KSL News Radio.
And a top national story this hour from ABC News. Ford is delaying rollouts for a new electric pickup truck and an SUV that it had planned. Interbrand is reporting Ford will also take another look at hybrids as the market evolves, planning to offer hybrid versions of all its vehicles by 2030. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day right now, 190 points. The NASDAQ is up 182. And our KSL weather, going to cloud up even with the south wind today. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the 9s, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Okay, so I've learned, and this was not an easy lesson to learn, but I've learned to walk past a donut. It's not been easy, but I've learned. I've learned because I feel better when I walk past those donuts. Salt Lake City Fat Loss has held my hand through a weight loss journey that has changed me. It really has. In 60 days, I lost 57 pounds. I feel fantastic. I feel great, and I'm motivated, and I want to continue because they've taught me to do it safely and naturally without surgery, injections, no point counting, no exercising, no prepackaged meals. All you have to do is go to saltlakeCityFatLoss.com. It's slcfatloss.com. You can schedule a free consultation. Let them explain to you the program and how it can affect you. Results vary, of course, but many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two. Go to slcfatloss.com.
My young son Michael lost both his kidneys. There's nothing worse for a mother than the feeling of helplessness when your child has a chronic or terminal illness. We felt so lucky when we learned that Michael's brother could save his life by donating a kidney. Today, both sons are strong, healthy young men with families of their own. Please help us save lives. Donate your car or truck to the Kidney Foundation. Kidney Cars donations promote organ donation and kidney disease prevention here in Utah. 17 people die each day while awaiting an organ transplant. 2/3 of these are waiting for a kidney. Make your car a kidney car, a car that saves lives. Kidney Cars donations make a great tax deduction. Donate online at towcars.org. That's TOWKARS. Or call the Kidney Foundation at 1-800-TOW-CARS. Cars with a K, like kidney.
There are many out-of-control factors that can cripple supply chains and break down the ability to get vital supplies for weeks, maybe even longer. Inflation and political instability means the cost of food could skyrocket. Now is the time to do something about it. The first step is to protect your family and to stock up on what you need. ReadyWise meals taste incredible, are simple to make, easy to store, and offer up to a 25-year shelf life. ReadyWise is a leader in emergency food supplies. During General Conference Weekend, enjoy savings statewide on all emergency food and supplies. Visit ReadyWise.com/KSL to explore the versatile emergency meal selection and start building your emergency food supply today. That's ReadyWise.com/KSL. Use code KSL20 at checkout to take 20% off your purchase. This discount will work for any item on the site. That's ReadyWise.com/KSL. And use code KSL20.
Some exclusions may apply.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, UDOT is conducting some emergency pothole repairs, so UHP is having to do some slowdowns northbound I-15 starting just after 45th South and Murray all the way into downtown Salt Lake. Now, once they're done with that, it sounds like they may do the same for the southbound side of travel between downtown Salt Lake and Murray. So just be aware you may have some delays. We also have a crash in the cleanup stages in Ogden on 12th Street at 700 West just before you get to I-15. Plan your special evening out in one of Salt Lake's most unique dining. 5 Alls in Foothill. 5 courses, 5-star service and dining. 5alls.com. 5alls.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our KSL weather, cloudy with south winds today, high in the low 70s. Rain showers tomorrow, rain and snow showers on Saturday. And right now we're looking at 57 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
The first woman who was mowed down by a white car, it happened in Salt Lake City. It was on August 22nd of last year. And then since then, a number of other women have been run over, left in the streets, all with the description of the same car and the same MO. Car comes at them, runs them over, and then flees the scene at high rate of speed, leaving them with very, very serious injuries to the point where there were brain bleeds. One woman had to be intubated, was in ICU. And we've since learned of other crashes that have been brought to our attention, not only in Salt Lake City, but also now this morning we're learning of one in Summit County that happened earlier in March as well. All seem to match the same description, Dave, of what happened to numerous other women.
Part of what is so chilling about this story, as we have talked to women that have been hit, they describe there's a commonality that is chilling to my bones. And they say, I didn't hear any braking or swerving, which just speaks to me that this was not a drifting off to the side. It feels so intentional.
Brett Weisberg, Public Information Officer of the Salt Lake City Police Department, live on the line. Good morning, Brent.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So we got to go back to this August 22nd hit-and-run crash where this woman is seen running from the car, and witnesses report very specific information about the car that hit her and left her. Why wasn't an arrest made shortly after that of On Fam?
Yeah, so this investigation started, as you mentioned, August 22nd, 2023, in the area of 1000 West, 500 South. Salt Lake City police officers responded to the incident. It was initially dispatched to us as a traffic crash with injuries. Our officers arrived. They spoke with two witnesses there, and during their investigation, we learned about some very concerning information. So from the onset of this investigation, as those officers started learning more about this case, they determined that this wasn't a crash per se, that this was more than that. It was an aggravated assault. And during the investigation, the officers were able to get a license plate of the suspect vehicle. They were able to get a generalized description of the car. And we pushed out a county-wide through all of Salt Lake County an attempt to locate to all other law enforcement agencies looking for this specific car. We didn't have anything pop that night. Several days, several months went by, and we never had any information about that car come up. Our detectives have been going back, trying to use technology to see, trying to track and put timelines, specific timelines to the defendant's vehicle to see where that car was throughout right after that August 22nd crash.
Did you go knock on his door?
So we actually didn't have a valid address for the defendant. As has been previously reported, there's information out there that this individual, this suspect who has been charged in 3rd District Court, was potentially homeless. It's obviously very easy for police officers to get someone's last known address if they have a valid address. And in this circumstance, the officers didn't have a valid address to go search for. That's why we pushed this out county-wide. Generally, when we have a last known address, whether the suspect may live in Murray, Layton, wherever, we will request other law enforcement agencies to go assist us. It's called an agency assist to go out there. And unfortunately, in this case, that wasn't possible.
So it sounds like you knew who this person was, the vehicle, you were looking, but quite frankly, you just weren't able to find him?
Well, so we didn't know who the driver was. It's important to make that distinction. Every single time we have to make an arrest or submit a case to the district attorney's office, there must be probable cause. We need probable cause before we can make an arrest, before we can conduct a search, before we can even obtain a warrant. So we need to prove that the defendant was actually in that car, that the type of the car was the one that matches the ones that the witnesses saw, that the victim saw. So there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that must be solved before we can definitively say this is the person. So although we had a potential name of the driver, we weren't able to confirm immediately and even through the investigation that in fact was the driver, who has now been charged in these other intentional hit-and-run crashes.
So Brett Weisberg with the Salt Lake City Police Department talking about a series of hit-and-run crashes that have left a number of women in Salt Lake City. And now we're learning of one possibly in Summit County and also the one in February as well in Sandy with some very serious injuries. The suspect has been arrested. He's been in court. He faces numerous counts of attempted murder. But I'm looking at all of these cases, Brent, that have been spelled out in this timeline in these court charging documents, and so many of them happened in Salt Lake City. Same MO, women being hit, and also a description. Many of the victims, even some that have said, I'd like for my case to be included in this because it's not included in these charges yet, and I was hit by a white car. And so I'm hoping police are able to prove, if possible, it's the same guy. What took so long with so many of these accidents or crashes? They're not accidents. They seem to be intentional, happening in the Salt Lake City area when you were the ones that put out the attempt to locate to begin with. Why not pick him up earlier?
Well, so we had to go back and really create a timeline. And as our detectives were working these cases individually, there was that crash that happened in the Rose Park neighborhood that critically injured someone. That prompted a response from our major crash team. And that is comprised of detectives throughout the Salt Lake Valley, and one of our detectives on that case was handling this investigation, that particular crash, and he sent out an internal message to detectives and our sworn personnel here, trying to, because we had information now that this was a white vehicle, we had certain information about the description of the vehicle and potential damage on that vehicle, when another detective who was investigating another one of the cases that appeared to be intentional as a potential hit-and-run intentional crash, that's when we started to see these dots connected. It was in March when we had that big break when we could finally say this white car is actually connected based on evidence to all of these other crashes. Once we were able to connect those dots, this investigation moved very, very rapidly.
Brent Weisberg, thank you for joining us from the Salt Lake City Police Department.
We didn't have a chance to ask him about the new crashes that we've learned about, the hit-and-run accidents, the one, or I keep calling them accidents, they're crashes. I mean, they are hit-and-runs. The one on March 12th, where we got the Ring doorbell camera footage of in a Salt Lake City neighborhood. The one on March 2nd, also in a Salt Lake City neighborhood. Neither of those cases are we aware of current charges in those cases where women were run over, mowed down by that white car. Our news team will continue to be in conversations with the Salt Lake City Police Department throughout the day and bring you the latest during Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news. There's so many questions. This is such a major case involving numerous women and victims, and it sounds like it took them a while for even detectives within their own department to start comparing notes to connect the two cases within the Salt Lake City Police Department that they said, these look as though that they might be connected. So lots of questions still remain. Straight ahead, we are going to take a deep dive into a new phenomenon called cold plunging. And it's part of our special coverage this week during LDS Conference Weekend.
I was only in for, I think, a total of 36 seconds. And it gave me just an instant to not feel anything.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know KSL is the only news radio for your car, right?
The only news radio for your smart speaker.
Come here in the morning. It's the latest news and traffic. In the afternoon, news and updated weather.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
Everyone's house is different, but they're all the same in one way. We all have those places where the Wi-Fi just won't go. For you, maybe it's the attic. For me, it's my basement. Well, if you had wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity, you could worry less about these dead spots. Finally. With wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity, you get fast speeds throughout your home, a reliable connection in every room, and power for all your devices, even when everybody's online. That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi, only on the Xfinity 10G network. Get wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity for a reliable connection throughout your home now through June 21st. New customers can get started with gig speed internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and free Wi-Fi equipment included when you add unlimited mobile. Here's what you do. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, that's 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
For the right repair and the right paint, the right choice is manufacturer-certified Martins Collision Repair. Hi, I'm Tiago Martins, and few have met the rigorous certification by Kia, Dodge, Infiniti, Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Hyundai, and many others. But it's one more reason that Martins is your right choice. Check online at martinscollision.com. On State Street in Orem and in Salem, we work with all insurance companies.
The right repair, the right paint, the right choice. Martins Collision Repair.
For the right repair and the right paint, the right choice is manufacturer-certified Martins Collision Repair. Hi, I'm Tiago Martins. Many shops have ASC and ICAR certified technicians, but few have certifications by General Motors, Nissan, Chrysler, Hyundai, Jeep, and many others, making Martins your right choice. Online at martinscollision.com, on State Street in Orem and in Salem, we work with all insurance companies.
The right repair, the right paint, the right choice. Martins Collision Repair.
Advertising used to be simple. Your options were radio, TV, newspaper, and let's not forget the yellow pages. Now it seems like a tidal wave of options. Podcast, cable TV, streaming, OTT, CTV, audio networks, smart speakers. On top of that, you need digital marketing for your website along with SEM, SEO, display, video, YouTube, email, and all the social media platforms. Look, you're the expert in your business. Wouldn't it be nice to have an expert to market you? We are Bonneville Salt Lake, the local marketing and media company you know and trust. We reach customers across all digital and social platforms and have the reach of traditional advertising available as well. We find your customer anytime, any place, anywhere on any device here in Utah or anywhere in the world. We work to optimize your results with our in-house local team of experts, providing you with qualified leads, not just impressions. Contact Stephanie Palmer at KSL for a free consultation, including a complete digital audit with no obligation or cost to you. Email spalmer@ksl.com. That's spalmer@ksl.com.
Common Spirit Health, hospitals, clinics, and caregivers to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
Don't forget, David Dujanovic on every Friday as well. We've expanded to Friday. So finally on Fridays and tomorrow during our 10 o'clock hour of the show, we will be taking an in-depth look at the cost of groceries. The federal government just released information that suggests that grocery costs are going to continue to go up in 2024. So Dave and I want to compare warehouse shopping at our favorite warehouse stores like Sam's Club and Costco. Are they really a better deal than shopping at the grocery store? That is tomorrow during our 10 o'clock show.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bonas. First, the Oakland A's will play temporarily in Sacramento, not in South Jordan, while a new stadium is built in Las Vegas. Second, public access to Mill Creek Canyon could be closed for a couple of years for road upgrades. And third, Ford is slowing down its manufacturing of new electric vehicles, choosing instead to focus on hybrid versions of existing cars and trucks. 57 degrees, mostly cloudy right now. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
I am so excited to talk to our very own Jessica Lowell. She has been working so hard to help us take the plunge. And on Saturday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right after the General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the afternoon session, Jessica will be taking a deep dive on this cool new trend. I am part of the trend, Jess. I can't wait to learn more about this from you, of cold plunging.
Yeah. Crazy people. You are crazy people. You do this on purpose. I only do it when I'm injured. Or
a cold plunge when you're injured.
Yeah, no,
you need a hot tub for that, Dave.
No. You got to ice those ankles after basketball. But yeah, doing this trend is crazy. So I'm going to have to hear the science behind it of why this is a good idea, because right now it just seems masochistic.
So Jessica Lowell is executive producer of Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News. She tore herself away from JCAN to head to cold plunges all over Utah and learn more about this. What interested you in the topic?
Yeah, I think last winter was particularly hard. I think for everyone, it was really cold and really snowy and really gray. And I remember I was talking to a friend one day about how we were all coping with it. And he mentioned that he liked to take a really cold shower, and it was a hard reset for him. And so it was something that interested me, and I kept on thinking about it over the summer. And as this winter came up, I was like, man, maybe there's something to these cold plunges. And so I decided I would look into it for my conference special.
So what were the first things that caught your attention when it came to cold plunging?
Yeah, I think like you said that these people are a little crazy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Hey. Yeah, no, I think it really is just I can't imagine getting into really cold water. I think that, and as I was looking into it more, I kept on running across all these people who had anecdotal stories about how their mental health benefits of it, the physical health benefits of it. Some people have even talked about how it helps you burn something called brown fat, because, you get the shivers and then your metabolism starts working in different ways. And so it just seems like, as I was learning more and more about it, I was like, how real can this all be? Like, there's no way that this thing can be so good for you.
So my daughter does it, and she insisted I get a cold plunge bath for our back patio area. And I don't know, they're not uber expensive. I think I spent less than $100, even though it was a little bit of an eyeball roll for me. I'm like, oh, really? But I'm going to play a clip from your upcoming special, which will air in its entirety Saturday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because I agree with this woman.
In for, I think, a total of like 36 seconds. And it gave me like just an instant to not feel anything.
36 seconds is how long she was in the cold plunge, and I can do about a minute without feeling like I am maybe a little crazy. But I agree, you feel kind of nothing, and your brain is so focused on the moment and your breathing, because I think that's a really important part of it too, and overcoming the idea that, you're just so cold, Jess. So I did see it when I started doing it as just a moment where that's all I'm thinking about. I'm not worried about the news. I'm not worried about all the other stuff I have to worry about, but that is it.
I think a lot of it is people talk about this survival mode. You go into this real shock of fight or flight, survival mode, and all you can do is think about the cold and think about nothing and try and control your breathing. So it really does shut off your brain. That day when I went with that woman, I went with some of her friends as well. And one of her friends stayed in for something like 10 minutes. And he was like, I think it's not necessarily advised, and definitely not on your first time advised to stay in for 10 minutes. But,
never.
If you can handle it, and he's been doing it often enough that he was like, I feel good still. And so I'm going to stay in. But I think most professionals suggest for your first time, if you can stay in long enough, then 2 minutes is normally, I think, what they say is a good amount of time.
How much does the science back this up? Because I've heard the anecdotal evidence as well. I don't know how much of it is a placebo. What does the science say about this?
Yeah, so I talked to a U of U health athletic trainer who has looked into cold plunges. She uses it for athletes, and we've been icing our injuries for so long. So, we know that ice has some sort of benefit. And so when you get in a big tub, it can, there's research to show that it can help with soreness. It can help with aches. And then as far as mental health benefits, there is an increase in adrenaline and serotonin. And what this doctor told me, or this medical person told me, was that it gives more opportunity for dopamine to bind. So these are all these happy hormones that you think of when you're on a roller coaster or something, and you come out and your adrenaline's rushing and you feel good. So those benefits, she said, can last from 24 to 48 hours afterwards. So, there are some longer term health benefits of, these spiked happy hormones.
So I've run distances. I'm not a distance runner, but I've done a half, and I've done, 10Ks and 5Ks. And I know 5Ks are not very impressive to a lot of people, but the half was certainly impressive to me. And I felt like I did have the runner's high, and it was incredible. And felt like I could just keep going and going. I was like, oh, I should have done a marathon. I can see the comparison between that sort of happy high you get. And I did feel a sense of accomplishment when I got out of that cold plunge. I also, here's a sort of pro tip, put your favorite song on. when you're doing it and set it right there. You can focus on the song, too, if you just don't want complete silence, and that helped me get through the longer cold plunge. Did you do it, Jess?
Yeah, I did, and you'll hear about it in my special. Yes.
Well,
I like your pro tip, Deb. Put on your favorite song so you can ruin your favorite song. Like every time you hear it, you start having a little PTSD.
Yeah. So it airs this Saturday at 4 o'clock. Take the plunge. Utahns seek cold water for physical and mental health benefits. Jessica Lowell, we love you so much here at KSL News Radio. Such a great teammate here on the team, and so glad that you're going to be on the radio at 4 o'clock, taking an in-depth look at this for a full hour.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Good job, Jess. Straight ahead, Boyd Matheson also sharing what he has coming up this weekend. It's a big weekend here in Utah and around the world. Boyd is next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour, the Larry H. Miller Company responding to the news that the Oakland A's will be making Sacramento their temporary home while they build a new Major League stadium in Las Vegas. The Miller Group says it's grateful for the discussions they've had with the A's about the possibility of hosting the team at a new ballpark in Daybreak. They say they're still committed to bringing a Major League Baseball team to Utah to play in a stadium that has yet to be built in the Power District near the State Fair Park. The AAA Salt Lake Bees will play in the new Daybreak Stadium starting next year. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. With Tax Day a little over a week away, the IRS warning taxpayers to be on the lookout for scam artists. IRS Commissioner Danny Werfel tells ABC News, if you get an email or text message claiming to be from the IRS, delete it and don't click any links.
These links are gateways for these bad actors to steal information and funds from you.
The commissioner says the IRS always sends letters in the regular mail, never texts or emails. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average now up on the day, 175 points. The NASDAQ is up 183 right now. And our KSL weather, the clouds will be moving in, and we'll see rain and possibly snow for the weekend. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online. Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Spring is a great time to elevate the look of your home and landscape by adding beautiful flowers to the yard and patio. And pros and hobbyists alike know that the best flowers are grown by Olson's Greenhouse, right here in the mountain valleys of Utah. This is Brian with Olson's Greenhouse, and my family has been growing flowers with love and care for over 80 years. That's 4 generations of a local, family-run Utah business. So whether you're looking to add a pop of color to the back patio or a beautiful flower bed to the front landscape, flowers from Olson's Greenhouse are the perfect finishing touch to make your yard a joy to relax in. Stop by ogg.com or find us on Instagram at Olson's Greenhouse Gardens, where you'll find inspiring photos to get you going on your flower gardening journey. You can also find a local retailer carrying plants from Olson's Greenhouse. That's OGG.com for Olson's Greenhouse Gardens, where you can dream big, dream bold, and dream in color with beautiful plants and flowers from Olson's Greenhouse.
Odds are, if you have a 401k, it's set up with your payroll provider or an insurance company. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and if you're using your payroll provider or an insurance company for your 401k, the employer may be overpaying for the plan, the employees may have blasé investment options, and those blasé investment options may cost more than they should. Not with Trajan Wealth. Call us today, 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600. Services offered through a third-party partner.
When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing selection, convenience, and exceptional service. 4 locations: Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Ford Truck Country. All dedicated to delivering you the best auto experience anywhere. Looking for your first car? Maybe you want rugged power or the stylish ride of your dreams. New or used. See it all at PerformanceBountiful.com. PerformanceBountiful.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
The crash we had in Weber County westbound 12th Street at 700 West has been cleared, but right now, traffic backed up due to a train crossing. As soon as that train leaves, you'll be through that intersection again. Valley Freeway traffic in great shape. Box Elder County has gone to the birds. Spring migration is here at Bear River Migratory Bird Refuge. See what visitors are chirping about with Box Elder County. For info, activities, and more, visit boxeldercounty.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And our KSL weather, cloudy with south winds today, high in the low 70s. Tomorrow, rain showers with rain and snow showers again on Saturday. Temperatures drop into the 40s for the weekend. Right now, 59 degrees and mostly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
This weekend, KSL News Radio will broadcast live the 194th Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It starts Saturday morning, and we have all kinds of special coverage, including our very own Boyd Matheson, who will bring us a special report.
First of all, I love that you said 194th annual. Because you asked me yesterday, like, what number are we on?
Is it annual? It's semi-annual.
Semi-annual. Yeah, semi-annual.
We missed a word in that.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
I was pointing out the fact that you were asking me, is this 193? Or is this, what number are you on right now? I don't know. It just shows up every couple of years, or twice a year.
It's every, it's
6
like
months.
Twice a year.
Every 6 months. Yeah, so it's semi-annual. Sorry about that. So, Boyd, you've got some really important coverage coming up Sunday at noon. The Apostles, Ordinary Men, Extraordinary Ministry.
Yeah, and so we're going to look at both ancient and modern apostles. So a really interesting perspective going back to the time of Jesus Christ and those original 12 apostles. And the reason I took on this particular project, really interesting, if you go way back, so William Tyndale, who translated the Bible into common language, one of the motivating factors for William Tyndale back in the 1500s was the fact that a survey of clergy of that time, most of them didn't know who the apostles were. Very few of them could name more than 4 of the original apostles. And so that was part of what drove William Tyndale to translate the Bible into common English, was this. And he said that they needed to take the apostles out of their otherworldly stained-glass existence and represent them as real human beings, real people.
That's a crucial component to it because I love the title of your special, Ordinary Men, Extraordinary Ministry. Ordinary Men is the part that I think maybe people don't fully understand about the apostles.
Yeah, most definitely. And even going back to the original apostles, they were fishermen. Tax collector, a political zealot, so there is hope. Even the political zealot can get in on the game. But it is that. And, of course, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believe that in their church, in their organization, that they have apostles with the same keys and responsibilities to take the gospel of Jesus Christ to all the world. And so that's really what this is a look at, is that they are very ordinary. And in the current makeup of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, you have everything from doctors, educators, lawyers, a pilots, communications professional. And so you have this very varied background. And yet the ministry that they take on, most of which most people don't see around the world, is really extraordinary.
You have an exclusive interview that will be part of your special.
Yes. I had the opportunity to sit down with Jeffrey R. Holland, of course, who's the acting president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. In June of this year, he will have been an apostle for 30 years. And so we had a chance to reflect and look at his ministry, and then just the role of apostle and how he's learned about that and kind of grown into it. In fact, one of my favorite exchanges with President Holland was, he said when he was first called to be an apostle, he said, I went around apologizing to everyone that I had been given this particular assignment to be an apostle. He said, I would call in the paper boy off the street. He said, and then finally someone said, stop apologizing and go to work. And so go to work he did, and he's been doing that for almost 30 years now.
I remember when I was in the MTC, when I was serving a mission, he was one of the apostles that had spoken, and he spoke to that specifically when he was first called. He said he was a nervous wreck, that he lost a whole bunch of weight because of the stress of it, and how you said how he grew into it. And you look at what has happened over the years, over the last several decades. He is quite the character. He's got a great personality, huge personality, has great stories, great writer. What did you learn from him, from your interview, that maybe you didn't know in the past?
Yeah, so one of the most candid moments, and we'll share this both at noon in the radio special here, and then also in a special edition of Sunday Edition on KSL 5 TV at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. And he's had obviously a real challenging last couple of years. He's had health challenges. His beloved wife, Pat, passed away. And I asked him what he learned through all of that. And his answer was pretty stunning. He said humility. And then he talked about the fact that he'd always taught about humility, had always studied humility. He said, but for the last 2 years, he's had to live humility. And that's a very different ballgame.
So you're also going to be on KSL 5 on Sunday morning. You'll be here with your special programming on KSL News Radio at noon on Sunday. Boyd Matheson giving us a preview of that special that's coming up this weekend, noon on Sunday. The Apostles, Ordinary Men, Extraordinary Ministry. What do you think the listeners are going to take away?
I think one of the things that they'll gain is a real appreciation. So I go through each of the current apostles in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, many of whom I've either followed on assignments or covered as part of my job here at KSL and previously at Deseret News. And so I share a little insight into something I've observed in their ministry. And then we also have them in their own words, taking from some of their own talks. And so I think people will get a kind of a rounded out view of who they are. They are ordinary men. They do have an extraordinary ministry to perform. And I think they'll come away thinking, oh, I know that person just a little bit better now. And again, not just the stained glass, what you see at conference sitting up on a stand or standing behind a pulpit, but someone who's a real person, who has unique gifts and talents, and all of whom are committed to making a difference all around the world. Not just the 17 million plus members of the Church of Jesus Christ, but everything in terms of the humanitarian effort of the church and all the other places and spaces where the church is trying to make a difference.
What surprised you as you connected the dots from ancient and modern apostles?
There's so many overlapping things that come together. You could take someone like an Elder Uchtdorf, and he is just bold, noble, independent, child coming out of World War II and all of those challenges and difficulties. And he has this very interesting connection. In fact, I remember in Rome a few years ago when the church dedicated the Rome Temple, there at the Visitor Center, they actually have statues of the Thorvaldsen statues of all of the ancient apostles.
Yes.
And so I watched as these current apostles walked into that visitor center and who they kind of gravitated toward. And Elder Uchtdorf went right to the Apostle Paul as one of those statues of those ancient apostles. And I thought, well, that totally makes sense. Boldly, nobly, independent, just totally made sense to me. President Ballard, who passed away at the end of last year, when he was in Rome, he went right to the Apostle Andrew. And Andrew was the great inviter if you go through the New Testament. He was the one who introduced the centurion. He was the one who brought the boy with the loaves and the fishes. And then you think of President Ballard, who was this great introducer, best missionary probably in the history of the church over the last 100 plus years. And so they all kind of have some interesting connections back to those ancient apostles, and then they all have their own unique ministry as well.
I look forward to this. Boy, this is Sunday at noon, right?
Sunday
right
at noon.
After the early morning session of General Conference. We look forward to it. The Apostles, Ordinary Men, Extraordinary Ministry.
We've been begging our listeners, Boyd, for the past couple of days to download the KSL News Radio app. It's totally free. You can take General Conference on the go with
your
you.
pocket.
This is what we do now, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. You can carry it in your pocket, carry it in your purse, have your earbuds in your ear. I want to give a shout out to our very own Maria Chaleos. She's really going to do a great job kicking things off for us 9:30 in the morning on Saturday morning. So you want to make sure that you're tuned in either on the radio or on our app or on your Alexa device right here Saturday morning for the semi-annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And she's going to talk about the acquisition of the Kirtland Temple. This has been a very big announcement. It's very exciting news. So Maria's going to launch things for us just before the session starts.
Thanks, Boyd. This segment of the Dave and Dujanovic Show is brought to you by Window World of Utah today for the best value in windows and doors. And that's no baloney.
I don't think Boyd should run out of here just yet because he's a big baseball fan, right? Didn't you own a baseball card shop or something like that, Boyd? At one point, he shakes his head.
Wait,
yes.
what? How did I miss this?
I own two of the Field of Dreams stores down in San Diego.
Stop it.
I listen to your
the
show,
layers
Boyd.
of your life.
Debbie's a
I
more
listen to your
faithful
show.
listener.
I am a faithful listener. I'm a faithful follower of Boyd Matheson. I know your history, Boyd. You're a big MLB fan.
I'm bringing in my Sandy Koufax ball.
And so you're probably just as disappointed as we are about the news that we got earlier today. We broke on the show in the first hour of the show that the Oakland A's have officially decided that Utah is not the place.
The temporary place.
The temporary. They're not the temporary place. You got one thing about baseball, Deb. Hope springs eternal. And it's spring.
Okay, so Dave and I are going to break this bad news down next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and Debbie go out of their way to make sure you hear all sides of a story.
They're working the phones to get several viewpoints on for you.
Hi, it's Tim and Amanda. We get you the full story, too.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Devotion to country, service to Utah. Brent Orrin Hatch had a front row seat, watching his father serve our state faithfully in the Senate. A constitutional conservative and lifelong Republican, Brent Orrin Hatch is a champion for the rule of law. He's running for Senate to stop this lawless president from destroying our country from within. Hatch will fight to secure the border once and for all and take on Mexican drug cartels to halt the flow of deadly fentanyl. Brent Orrin Hatch knows the national debt is just as big a threat to national security. Hatch won't rest until the budget's balanced and won't cave to the big spenders in both parties. Pro-life, deeply committed to religious liberty, rock-solid Utah conservative. Brent Orrin Hatch for Senate. Paid for by Conservative Outsider PAC, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.copac.us.
The crime tore a community apart.
Chad has much more likelihood of putting on a defense.
Can the judge and attorneys pick a fair jury?
The death penalty is going to be a huge part of this.
The trial of Chad Daybell, mornings and afternoons starting this week. Listen at home for the latest developments and in the car for updates from the courtroom here on KSL News Radio.
Held over due to popular demand. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Save thousands on hot tubs and swim spas. It's a major manufacturer's liquidation of hundreds of in-stock spas. Utah State Fair Park. Hot tubs discounted 40 to 80% to the lowest possible price, starting at $29.99. Free professional delivery. Take possession tomorrow, next week, next month, or next season. The Hot Tub and Swim Spa Sale. Utah State Fair Park. Shop over a dozen models of swim spas from 11 feet to over 19 feet. Swim spas offer low-impact exercise, active family fun, unsurpassed relaxation, and installation in one day. The Hot Tub and Swim Spa Sale. Everything must go. Free parking, free admission. You can't afford to miss this. It's a major manufacturer's liquidation of hundreds of in-stock spas.
Friday, noon to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
The Hot Tub and Swim Spa Sale. Utah State Fair Park. Visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
We've been reporting, I think it's some exciting news that's going on in Bear Lake State Park about some expansion, some big projects they have there going on there to bring on more families. So if you want to learn more about this, it's so easy to do. Just download the free KSL News Radio app on your phone, and that story lives on the app. I'm looking at my app right now, and it is front and center. Bear Lake State Park is opening new areas to keep up with growth. So download the app. It's free.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, the A's won't be coming to Utah. They've decided to play for 3 years in Sacramento instead. Second, the IRS says scammers are still calling and texting, claiming to be from the government. And third, a man accused in a series of hit-and-runs in Salt Lake may also be responsible for one in Summit County. Right now, 59 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
I mean, what a Debbie Downer moment. Oh, for Utah. We got word a little while ago that the Oakland A's, they've dissed us. They're not coming to South Jordan, where we thought they might play temporarily for a few years while their Vegas digs got built. But they put out word a little earlier today that they've chosen Sacramento as their temporary home. Larry H. Miller Group, which owns that stadium out in Daybreak, put out a statement, and I don't know what else they were going to say. So it's a pretty vanilla statement, but we'll work through that in a second.
They did confirm what was being reported from CBS News. When we first saw this story cross, it was CBS News. But they said that there were always economic reasons for the A's to stay in Northern California. And what we've learned is that had to do with television rights. The Oakland A's bring in about $67 million a year in television rights. So if they were to move here for 3 years, possibly, and play in South Jordan, how do those television rights translate? Right? You're asking
a new market
to come up with $67 million. It's just almost impossible to do that in such short notice with a team that doesn't necessarily grow roots here because they're eventually moving to Las Vegas. So they had to keep it kind of in the ballpark so that the television dollars made sense.
Yeah, and the Utah market is a lot different than the California market.
I think we can do it. I think because we have to be able to raise that kind of money in television rights to support a Major League Baseball team.
We might be able to do it with more runway.
That's the key.
Yeah, we need more runway. We might need 2 or 3 runways to get there.
If you're going to invest that kind of money, I'm talking about the television deals.
Yeah.
You have to be able to say, okay, this isn't the transitory team. The team's going to be here and leave 5 minutes later. This has to have the roots growing into the ground of a Major League Baseball team.
So sorry to my neighbors in Daybreak. Maybe some of you are excited. I mean, I am on the Daybreak Facebook page. I know there's mixed emotions about the idea of getting a stadium out there to begin with. We're getting a stadium in South Jordan. It's going to be built. It will be for the Bees. It'll open up in the 2025 season. But we thought there was this opportunity that I was super excited about. I mean, I was bragging to my 3 kids all the time. Like, here's the parking arrangement. It's going to happen at Mama's house, and we're going to make sure we get here early for a little barbecue, and then we're going to walk over because it's only a mile, and we're going to watch the A's play as often as we can. We're going to soak it up. It's going to be exciting. Well, now I got to call them up this afternoon and be like, okay, sorry, guys. But the good news is in 2025, the Bees are still going to be playing, right?
And that's
unless
crucial.
you just throw up your hand like there's more breaking news that they're going to be out there in South Jordan in 2025.
I'm pointing at you because that is such a big deal on many different levels. Number one, the Bees know where they're going to play. They're going to go to South Jordan by next year. That's the plan. I haven't seen the latest construction.
Goodness, when you raised your hand, I thought we had a new development again.
No.
I can't take any more new news.
If there's
on
a new development, the raising hand is going to turn into a wave. It's where the panic. We got something new going. No, it's a big deal because the Bees know where they're going to play. South Jordan knows what to prepare for. The existing plans of the stadium can move forward because if the A's were going to come, they were going to have to redesign much of that stadium to expand capacity. So all of this has now been settled. They're able to move forward. So the fact that the A's have made this decision so quickly within the last week or so regarding Sacramento, that really helps the Bees. It also helps the ballpark neighborhood.
On 13 South, the current one in Salt Lake,
where the Bees are playing right now. Now they can make plans and move forward because before the Bees would have had to stay downtown, play there while the A's were playing in South Jordan. So now they can move on with the ballpark plans, the next phase, the next step forward of what they're going to do with the old ballpark.
Okay, Mr. Glass is half full. You're trying to make the best of this. I'm disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I was so hopeful that the A's were going to be playing a mile from my house and we could all, walk over there.
You shouldn't be that
together.
excited. I was going to make you house swap me for about 6 months.
I would have charged you a pretty penny. You wouldn't have been able to afford it. Larry H. Miller Group coming out at about 10:30 this morning, right after we got word that the A's are going to stay in California. They're going to play in Sacramento temporarily while they wait to see if their Vegas Strip stadium will be built in Vegas, where the Tropicana has been standing for several decades. That place closed down. Now it's going to become a Major League ballpark. But Larry H. Miller Company issuing this statement. We want to express our gratitude to Major League Baseball and the Athletics for approaching Larry H. Miller Company about potentially hosting the Athletics in our new ballpark in downtown Daybreak during their transitionary period.
Should we require these companies to start putting emojis next to these? Because I think this really needs like a frowny face or a little single tear down the eye emoji.
A vanilla statement. I don't know what I expected them to say, but I'm feeling a lot more heartache than it is expressed in the company statement here.
Yeah,
I'm extremely disappointed. I'm also a wee bit concerned about all of the rhetoric I'm hearing coming from your mouth about the potential that this could cost us an MLB team ultimately.
Yeah, my big fear is by moving to Sacramento. So this is the doomsday scenario.
This is the glasses half empty day.
This is the doomsday scenario.
He's
Dave
finally
Noriega.
come to work.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, so they move the A's temporarily. They play 3 years in Sacramento. Say it catches fire. Sacramento, the community rallies around the A's. They love them. They show incredible support.
They'll do it just to prove a point.
They could.
They could do it just to prove a point.
Now, when you're looking at Major League Baseball expansion, now Sacramento has a track record. They can show, look what we did when the A's came here. This wasn't even our very own team. And look at the support and the money that we raised. Well, now we have real competition because right now, to this point, I haven't felt like there is any competition in the West outside of Salt Lake. We are a slam dunk, 100% all in, easy pick for Major League Baseball.
And because Las Vegas was getting the A's or is getting the A's or supposed to get the A's, or we don't know if they're going to get the A's, they're going to build a stadium for the A's, and who knows if they'll show up. You're like, okay, Las Vegas is out of our hair. Thank goodness, because they are an attractive location for an MLB team.
I don't mind competing against Sacramento or Portland or some of these other cities. I have no interest in competing against Las Vegas because it would be a Dave Noriega versus Mike Tyson fight. I would be knocked out in 2 seconds. Like there's no chance we compete against Las Vegas. We need Las Vegas to have a team, signed, sealed, and delivered, bulldoze the Tropicana, build the new baseball stadium, because until that happens, I am a nervous wreck.
You are concerned that when Major League Baseball expands, and if Vegas has a stadium sitting there and the A's have decided to stay in Sacramento, that
it's over for us. How's that? Is that a bright and shiny little beacon of joy for you?
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top local story this hour. On Pham is being investigated for another hit and run in Summit County. He's accused of 4 separate intentional hit and run attacks in Salt Lake County. KSL News Radio's Jessica Lowell reports.
Summit County says they're looking into on Pham for a hit and run near Park City on March 5th. A woman was hit from behind while walking in the Sun Peak neighborhood. She was taken to the hospital after for her injuries. KPCW in Park City reports that the car that hit the woman was white and a smaller model.
Pham is already facing 10 felony charges for targeting women pedestrians, hitting them with his car. Police were able to link the cases in part because of the white Toyota Avalon described in all these cases. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Relatives of the late Martin Luther King Jr. held ceremonies in multiple cities today to mark the 6th anniversary of the Reverend King's assassination. One ceremony was held in Memphis, where Dr. King was killed on April 4th, 1968. Another event held in Atlanta, Dr. King's hometown. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day, 155 points. The NASDAQ is up 171 right now. And our KSL weather, clouds are building up, and we'll see some rain, possibly snow for the weekend. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:31.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
I want all the ceiling fans. In my life, I want every room. I want the garage to have a ceiling fan. But I'm not handy enough to do it myself. I think I'm going to have to probably hire that thing out.
And you're going to call Master Electrical, and Master Electrical is going to come to your house and tell you need more ceiling fans. You also need more lighting. So they're going to give you a bid, and it's going to come with their upfront pricing guarantee. The price they guarantee you upfront is the price you pay when the job is done.
And one of the things I love about that, Debbie, is they can help, because they've been around for so long, they can help you plan long term. So maybe you want to do some lights and ceiling fans and then an EV charger, and you want to plan this out but spread it. They can help you make that plan. They'll give you a bid, and they will honor that.
And look, they're not just going to show up at the Noriega's house in Kaysville. They'll go anywhere from Logan to Santa Quin, and they're always open, including for emergency services.
801-543-2222. So easy to remember that number. 801-543-2222.
Or check them out online at masterelectrical.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
In Weber County, we've had a train that is stalled at the tracks at 12th Street at about 7th West. Traffic has been really backed up. That's the spot you want to avoid. Also, we have delays due to road work westbound 90th South between I-15 and Redwood Road. For fabulous food, atmosphere, and tradition, visit Five Alls Restaurant. Five Alls offers memorable dining experiences for any occasion. Birthdays, anniversaries, proms, graduation, engagement, and more. Visit fivealls.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And our KSL weather, cloudy, south winds today, high in the low 70s. Then tomorrow, rain showers with rain and snow showers on Saturday. Temperatures drop into the 40s for the weekend. Right now, 61 degrees, partly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Dave, last year at this time, I was so freaked out about spring runoff and the potential for flooding. I ran out and bought flood insurance. And I didn't think I had that much to worry about this year because of, we've got a lot of rain in the valley. But then I saw this story on KSLTV.com. Utah water managers work to prevent problems before spring runoff. And that just posted 2 days ago. So it's still at top of mind for people who are experts about water.
You're not the only one that gets sucked into this. About 5 minutes after the earthquake, I had earthquake insurance. Right? I've been paying for it. But I think runoff doesn't seem terribly likely that we'll flood, in my opinion, because I'm not seeing the snow down here like we had last year. But when you talk to the experts, the snow year was way better than we realize, even compared to last year, right? It was still a very good snow year, and it's in the mountains, and that's got to come down eventually.
So the percentage I'm looking at, Kevin, at KSLTV.com, is we're sitting at just over 130% of normal. Hi, Kev.
Hey, guys. How are we today?
Good. Kevin Eubank, KSL meteorologist, live on the line to walk us through it and calm me down. Should I be worried about spring runoff this year? How about people on the East Bench? Should they be worried about spring runoff?
Debbie, you always worry about everything.
I worry about everybody.
You need to be,
everything and everybody always.
So true. So we have an incredible water year. We are sitting at 130%. And the good news is remember last year was so crazy. It was such a huge, epic year, but we were coming on the heels of a drought. So we needed every bit of that water. This year's different. We've actually got really good groundwater, really good reservoir storage, and now we're sitting at 130%. So even though we didn't have the snow year that we had last year, the impact holistically to the state is almost as good this year as it was last year. So yes, there's plenty of snow up there. Yes, we're going to have a good runoff, but you know what? It's timing. It's everything. If we were to go to 90 degrees next week, we'd have massive flooding, but we're not going to do that. We're going to see things happen. We hope that it comes off measured, and they're letting a lot of water out of the reservoirs right now up in our mountains to try to prepare those reservoirs for the water to come in when the snow starts melting. So a lot of water management happening right now, and Debbie, things are going to be okay.
Can you expound a little bit on that groundwater aspect and describe what to people like myself that may not know exactly what you're talking about?
You bet. So when we're in a drought, the ground is totally depleted of its water. So when the snow starts to melt, all that water, instead of running to the reservoirs where we can manage it and use it, it ends up going down into the ground. And a lot of times it's lost. We're not able to capture it. We're not able to manage it. But when the groundwater is saturated, meaning the ground already has water in it, we're going to add a little bit more to it with the snow melt, but then all of a sudden the ground can't hold anymore, and it allows that water to run off and get to the reservoirs and the lakes. That's a good thing. For water harvesters like us that we live by our snowpack, that's exactly what we need to have a really good year, to get water into the reservoirs, to replenish all of our mountain reservoirs, and then to start really making a dent on things like, Lake Powell and Flaming Gorge and some of those other really big reservoirs that are going to take multiple years to get back to where they need to be.
I love that phrase, water harvesters like us. I hadn't thought about it that way, Kev. That's true. So you said we're not going to get to 90 degrees next week. Part of me is like, oh, too bad, because I could use a little warm day. I've been chilled for like 6 months. I've had it's felt cold. So I know today is going to be warm. What does it look like over the next several days?
Well, just a reminder, last year on this date, April 3rd and April 4th, Salt Lake City had a 14-inch snowstorm. Bountiful Bench picked up 2 feet of snow, and the mountains had 4 feet of snow. So last year on this date, it was in the 30s and snowing like crazy. The good news is, Debbie, I know you want this, it's going to snow on Saturday morning. So our spring weather is all about extremes. Yesterday we were 70, first 70-degree day of the season, and by the weekend we're going to drop 30 degrees, and temperatures are going to end up in the 40s with lows in the 30s. So it's going to be another cold little snap for the weekend. It happens on Friday and Saturday, gone by Sunday, and then we're back up into the 60s next week as we get that spring pattern of warming and cooling, and that's what we need. That's how you're going to bring down this snowpack in a good way. It's to do exactly this, warm it up and then cool it back down.
I'm trying to remember how late it was snowing last year.
June.
Obviously.
Into May.
Yeah, it was.
Was
May.
it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year, that was part of the problem, is that we would warm up, but then when we would get cold, it would add more snow. And we were like, whoa, this has to stop sometime. Like, we can't keep doing this. And it went all the way into the month of May that we were still adding some really big snow up in our mountains.
KSL meteorologist Kevin Eubank, thank you. And also thank you for ruining my pickleball game on Saturday. I guess we're moving back indoors after you teased me with 70 degrees. Back inside.
It'll
Thanks,
be
Kev.
the second, is it the third weekend? I think we had a nice weekend a couple of weekends ago, and it was glorious, where we had that fake spring for several days. I call it Fing. The Fing. It's the fake spring, the faux spring, and then all of a sudden we get whiplash, and here it comes again. So I've got a little bit of a dilemma going on here. Last year, like you did with the earthquake, I ran out when we were talking about all the potential for flooding, even though I do not feel like I'm in like some sort of floodplain, and I don't live along the edge of the Great Salt Lake, along Legacy Parkway and all those other places that have those potential because they're right there by the Great Salt Lake. I ran out and I bought flood insurance. And a couple of nights ago, I go walking to get my mail just down the block because we have those community mailboxes. So I go like once a month because it's literally 20 steps. And so I go once a month.
So far away.
And sitting in my stack of mail, and sometimes I've gotten a note from the postman. I don't postwoman. Remove your mail before we have, you know what I mean? Like,
arrested and thrown in jail.
Like, are you okay? You know what I mean?
You still live here, right? Question mark.
You all right? So I get back to my house and I open the mail, this envelope, and I realize, oh no, I ordered flood insurance last year. I paid for it. I don't remember the exact cost last year, but the renewal is $325, and I am in this dilemma. So I paid for my insurance, of course, last year out of sheer panic. I didn't have a single problem last year, as you might expect. I live in South Jordan. I don't look around me and worry that there's a lot of water coming off the mountain behind me. I had more of a flood risk when I lived very
Hey,
close.
you were on the mountain.
Big Cottonwood Canyon for 30 years because we got a ton of snow too, by the way, all the time. But we got a lot in South Jordan. So I didn't use it at all. So now I've got this renewal slip, and you have to renew it because I'm in the federal flood prevention or flood insurance program. So I got the federal flood. You have to renew it within 30 days, like 30 days out from the actual renewal date. So I have to decide today. If I'm going to renew it. $325. Do I do it, Dave?
That's a great question. Because I know before your floodplain or your threat was, I don't know, was it high?
No, I think it was just.
Is it medium?
Yeah.
Is it low?
Yeah, before when I lived in Cottonwood Heights.
Yeah.
Oh, it was higher, but I don't know if it was considered like technically in a
You weren't on a
federal
river.
like run for your life. Yeah, build an ark, have it ready to go kind of flood situation there. But I never had flood insurance.
You do have to take a calculated risk. Like we can't have all the insurances. You can't have tornado, earthquake, flood, tsunami. You can't have all the insurances. So I guess that's the question you're asking is how do I know whether or not this is taking an appropriate calculated risk?
And this isn't with my homeowner's insurance. Obviously, I have that. This is a separate
Above
policy.
and beyond, yeah.
Okay, well, you didn't give me much of an answer. So let's get an expert on next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Join Macy's and Trust for Public Land to bring more parks to more people across the country now during Earth Month. Throughout April, you can help turn vacant schoolyards into vibrant parks. Just donate online to Trust for Public Land or round up your Macy's store purchase up to 99 cents and donate the extra change. Give back today and find out how we're helping people in the planet thrive together at Macys.com/purpose.
It's gonna be here before you know it.
Here comes the summer, like a wave of change.
Soda Weight Loss wants to help you look amazing in your swimsuit and shorts, but you got to get started right now at sodaweightloss.com. No time? Try Soda's at-home program with all the support you need online.
I didn't realize how unhealthy I was. When you start losing the weight, even that first 5 pounds, this enormous amount of confidence starts to build in you. You start to realize, like, oh, this is possible for me.
That's Lauren, and she let go of 35 pounds with Soda. With their help, I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months. That's because Soda works. It's why they have more than 8,700 Google reviews and countless before and after pictures and videos of people loving their results. Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Sodas, say it with me, state of the art.
Business. It's all the things that keep this world turning. And behind every one of these companies is a partner helping to keep it all moving. It's why the local flower shop and your favorite pizza joint, the startup and the stadium, hospitals and hotels, banks and restaurants nationwide all choose the advanced network, cybersecurity solutions, and round-the-clock trusted partnership from Comcast Business, the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
See why Comcast Business powers more small businesses than anyone else. Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Ends 5/5/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 50 megabits per second internet and security edge. Equal bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Biz Social Marketing Agency is a full-service marketing and web design agency that helps businesses of all sizes grow their brands and reach new customers. Founder Jen Foster joins us with more.
As the founder of Biz Social Marketing Agency, I understand the power of content creation in today's digital world. Our agency specializes in crafting compelling articles, blogs, and social media posts designed to elevate your business's online presence. The key to our strategy is creating content that not only engages your audience, but also enhances your visibility on Google and other major search engines. We recognize that in the vast ocean of the internet, standing out is critical for any business. That's where our expertise comes in. Our team works hard to ensure that your business's voice is not only heard, but also resonates with your target audience. By focusing on SEO-friendly content, we make sure that your business ranks higher in search results, driving more traffic to your website. Choose Biz Social Marketing Agency to help your business get found, get noticed, and grow. Get started at bizsocialmarketing.com.
Whether you're looking for content creation, visibility, or web design services, Biz Social Marketing Agency is committed to helping your business make a lasting impact. Learn more at their website. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
If you're looking to stay up to date with some push notifications, all the latest breaking news, and stay in the know on all the hot topics we have our eye out for every day on Dave and Dujanovic, just download the KSL News Radio app. It's free. You can listen live. Get all the latest on the KSL News Radio app.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, Salt Lake County authorities already prosecuting a man they believe is responsible for a series of hit-and-run incidents. Now Summit County is looking at another one. Second, the Oakland A's have decided to play in Sacramento temporarily rather than coming to Utah while a stadium is built in Las Vegas. Third, people across the country remembering the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. today on the 56th anniversary of his assassination. Right now, 61 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
So a couple of weeks ago, Aaron Pitkin made the mistake of calling into the Dave and Dujanovic show during one of our call segments. And she was so articulate about insurance. We kept her number. And this is perfect timing. We're going to get her back in on the show in just a few moments. She's waiting on the line right now, Dave. So she's she's not only an insurance agent here in Utah, but she's also an owner. And the owner of Alan D. Smith Insurance Agency in Logan. I talked to her briefly this morning before this show with my flood insurance dilemma. Now, I ran out, like I always do, in a moment of panic last year when we were facing the real threat of the possibility of flooding because of all the snow we got. There's still that possibility now. We just heard from Kevin Eubank. If the weather warms up too quick, its conditions have to be perfect. And he said, that's not happening right now. So just settle down there, Deb. I went out and bought flood insurance through FEMA. It's separate from your homeowner's insurance policy. It's in the neighborhood of $300. It gave me a couple $100,000 in coverage for the building, my home, and $100,000 to cover the contents if the big one comes through my front living room.
An expensive couch.
Yeah. So what does that work out to be? About $15 a month? No, $20 a month. No, $25 a month, $30 a month.
$25, $30.
So I have to renew today if I want to keep it for another year.
Well, I'm glad you didn't wait till the last minute. Deb, you have some homework to do? You have a book report tomorrow? Huh. Didn't see that coming.
Hi, Erin.
Hi, guys.
I'm so glad to have you back on the show. Thanks for being willing to play along with us. So appreciated that call that you made to us a couple of weeks ago on a kind of related topic, but now we have you on our Rolodex. You're going to be a regular guest. So I've got this dilemma. I'm certainly not asking you to be like, evaluate my home and decide if I need to keep this or not. But let's just start here. What are the benefits of having this national flood insurance policy for people like me if I decide to keep it around another year?
Well, I think one of the benefits always is that you're going to have coverage for things that may or may not happen. Like they said, it's kind of a gamble, a risk that you're taking, any type of insurance. You hope you don't have to use it, right, in the end. But I think the benefit of it is just having it in the event that you do need it, because as my mom growing up, she was an insurance agent too, and she always used to tell me that the only time people want insurance is the moment that they need it.
Exactly.
And it's kind of an industry where you have to preemptively think, how you need to look at it like, how catastrophic would it be for me financially if I were to just take over everything myself? If you are in a situation where, you are independently well off and don't really have to worry about daily groceries or bills or things like that, it may not impact your finances as much as it would maybe like a starter family that has 2 or 3 children, that it would impact their finances a lot different. So I will always advocate, if you feel like it's something, if there's even a chance that you would need it, I'm always going to advocate that you go ahead with it. But like you said, it does depend on the property itself, your own situation, what you feel like you can take on or not. Those are kind of evaluations that you have to make for your own situation.
Yeah.
To
Erin,
determine that.
one of the things that pops into my brain, and I think a lot of us homeowners, we don't fully understand what is covered, what's covered by homeowners, what needs supplemental insurance. So maybe you can explain to us where flood insurance plays into this, and it's not necessarily overlapping with some of our homeowners' insurance.
Sure. So flood insurance is kind of designed more for like structural damage to the building and the foundation of, either the home or the dwelling that you're insuring, to ensure its safety. You know what I mean? To make sure that the building is restored to safety and code and everything like that. So the actual value of the building. But as far as like contents or anything like that, that would be separate under your homeowner's policy, unless there's exclusions. It kind of depends on the company. But generally it covers like electrical and plumbing systems, like your furnace, your water heater, your air conditioning, HVAC systems, that kind of stuff. So it would be on top of your homeowner coverage already.
Okay. But so, Erin, does the flood insurance that I got through FEMA, which I purchased because I was afraid that, water would come raging down the street from, I don't know, an overflow in the Jordan River as we're getting all kinds of runoff, that is going to cover it if it comes into my home, right?
Yes.
That's going to kick
that would
in
be
if
like,
it comes into my
runoff
home.
water or groundwater coming up into your home. How we were just talking about all the rainfall and the snowfall coming down the mountains. That does impact homes that are in the way of that for sure. So when people think about flooding, they think about walking into their kitchen, and there's 6 inches of water, but they don't always think about, the groundwater that can seep into your foundation. And you might not even necessarily have standing water, but there can be water, in your drywall or in the sheetrock on the walls that can then lead to mold and things like that if it's not dried out properly. I mean, there's a lot of problems that can come, not just the flooding itself and the water damage, but if it's not properly taken care of, then there's all other problems that can ensue also along with it.
Erin Picken.
So,
I'm sorry. Erin
Sorry,
Picken
go
is an
ahead.
insurance agent and owner of Allen D. Smith Insurance Agency in Logan, and this is supplemental. And so if I don't keep this flood insurance through FEMA, which is this policy that I have to renew for $325 for the year, and I just decide to chance it and stick just with my homeowner's insurance won't cover the water that's coming in off the street in case of a massive amount of snow melt this year, right, Erin? That just covers
right, that kind of thing would not be covered.
Okay, so that would just my
Yeah,
homeowners
because it's coming from the outside in. So like versus if you went on vacation and you come back and a pipe broke and flooded your basement, that would be different and probably included under your homeowner's policy because that's inside as part of the systems already existing inside the home. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I would be out of luck then if I don't renew this $325 annual policy that I got. And I do know as well, Aaron, thanks so much for your phone call and your loyalty to the Dave and Dujanovic show. Appreciate it. I do know, Dave, when I bought the policy last year, there was a waiting period. I didn't buy it on a Tuesday and have it kick in on that Tuesday. There was a waiting period, and I believe it was a month. It might have been 2 months. If you're going to do it, you got to check into it and not put it off and think you're going to buy it now and it's going to be effective at midnight tomorrow.
Which makes sense. They're not going to sell you fire insurance when your house is burning, right? It's they want you to make sure that you're doing this well in advance, not on epic snow years 5 minutes before you think your house is going to flood. So there's a grace period, there's a waiting period for these things to kick in.
So, yeah, I need to figure this out soon, like in the next couple of hours, if I'm going to keep my national flood insurance policy that I bought last year.
There are national flood maps that you can look at as well that are online where you can do some research, and it will give you the severity and the danger.
Maria Chaleos, good afternoon. There she is. Hi, Maria. She's taking over now. She'll have all of your day's news up next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt